Hey everybody. Hey Stilling, hey Pressel. Oh, I never opened up the live chat for YouTube. Not that many people type there, but I should at least be watching it. Pop out chat. Yeah, and I mentioned this on Discord, but check this out. So now when I type what's an example of this? I don't know. Let's type out the today command. And then I'll do it from that. Actually, what is the today command from last time? It's pretty much the same thing. So ecom today, it is now Wednesday though. Is continuing to rapidly prototype Idle Ascendants. He hopes to get a bit of the world map and enemy spawns working today. What else I want to say? Oh yeah, mentoring. They'll be mentoring Remy at a stream uptime of about 2H15M. Okay, so here's the today command, right? So I added this here, and now over on YouTube, I try typing today, and now wait up to 15 seconds. All right, well, it's always unfortunate that I have to wait 15 seconds. I resubmitted my form for a quota increase. So, oh, come on. Maybe this isn't even going to work. Well, that'd be a shame. Maybe, oh man, maybe there's a different problem actually. Maybe it never even updated. Hang on one sec. Oh man. I tested this yesterday, but I don't know if I checked to see if this got the new Docker image. Up for 12 hours. No, it must have. Docker logs 1BB. Oh, it's giving me like a million. Oh, come on. I've exceeded my quota. What? What? How is that possible? Yeah, I'm at 100% for today. Oh, that's very bad. That's very, very, very bad. I don't even know how that's possible though. When did this happen? Can I check for like the last day? Start time the 19th. Sure. Right there. Today from like 4:30 up till now. What was it? Oh man, what was it doing? Oh, no. Well, I guess we don't have a bot on YouTube today. Oh, oh, what a shame. Also, wow, it just like spams everything when you can't do this. All right, well, that's the next thing I got to figure out. Oh God, what a shame. All right, let's just write this here. I promise we're gonna get to game dev today. I just expected to be able to show this and it would work. So YouTube handle quota errors and figure out how I burn through my quota in 4 hours without even streaming. Oh, this is just so stupid. And it's just gonna spam the console over and over and over again. Let me scroll up in the log and see if I can find something that's not this error. No, I can't. This is coming from pull for chat messages. What was I trying to show? I was trying to show that my YouTube bot now knows how to truncate things. So before I would type a today message like this, and I don't know how many characters this is. Anyway, just imagine that it's, more than 200. It is actually more than 200, but so it used to just fail. It would print out nothing. And now it says something like command too long for YouTube. Look at it here. And it gives you a link to look at it. So now no matter what the length is, at least you have some way of reading it. I don't think it's a leak. Man, I don't know exactly, but I don't want to look into this right now. So yeah, anyway, Oppressal, I'm really glad to hear you're trying out OLS. I hope it goes well for you. I'd love to hear more on, day 10 or day 15, how it's going for you. Actually, honestly, even increasing it by 80% would still be decent. I could probably lower the polling time down to like 10 seconds instead of 15. Did your coworker friend find out what hot list that issue was reported on? I did ask them, and they said that they don't have access to those, so they couldn't tell me beyond that. So it needs to be someone on the YouTube team probably, and they're not on the YouTube team. What window manager am I using? I'm just on like default Mac OS. So, oh, maybe you're wondering how I'm like switching between windows, in which case that's actually something called hammer spoon. And I think, check out the hammer spoon command. And thank you, Oppressal. Yeah, I'm very interested. Is it not going to do this? Oh, man. Let me try it one more time. Check out, oh, there. Well, that worked, but it's supposed to just automatically do it when I say it. Let me see if this is working for anything. Check out the today command. Maybe more is broken with this. I do also use rectangle, but that's just for putting windows in certain positions, which I guess is part of window management. Hey, Mac, I wonder, oh boy. All right, well, whatever. I can't really look into this right now, but I wonder if the quota is blocking my voice commands from working. That would be such a shame. Let me try one more time and be very, very clear about this. Check out the keyboard command. All right, so if it doesn't get that, then it's probably just breaking. And then, yeah, figure out why this is stopping, why quota issues are stopping my vocal commands from working. Yeah, everything's on fire. Does engage privacy mode work? That did work. Okay, so it's just a problem with getting it to connect to the bot. It's not an OBS thing. This worked. All right, well, I've got more work to do on that then. Yeah, I feel bad because this was never supposed to be an issue, but yeah, well, you live and learn. Whoa, Mac, thanks for the tier 3 sub. This is why we love Dev. No, we love Dev for releasing things that are fun. All right, did I actually update the today command? Yeah, I did. Okay, great, great, great. All right, next up is the new video command. So I made a new video yesterday, and I will link it in chat in just a second. New video, Adam's new video that I'd like to highlight is from Tuesday, March 19th, and it is called, I don't remember what it's called. What was this called? Last year. Mute. All right. Use this simple technique to motivate yourself. And now we put this over here. Doom scrolling one was good. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, this video that I just, so this is talking about OLS that I came up with a while ago. It's really, really simple. It's a short video, and it did help me. I think the more I think about this, the more I think I was probably depressed about a year ago, and I don't think I knew it. And I think this was essentially a way to still get stuff done while depressed. But yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into that. If you want to find out more about that, look at the Why I Left Google video, I guess. This is something, we're almost at celebration time. I'm going to finish covering all the news updates and we'll get to coding. So there's this tab on YouTube, and it has the eligibility requirements for the first part of revenue earning on YouTube. And so the subscriber amount, you just have to be at 500. You have to have made 3 videos in the last 90 days. This is, I mean, from now onward, pretty much always going to be true. And then this is the hard one, 3,000 public watch hours. So I'm almost there, but then the real milestone is this one, which is 4,000 watch hours. So that'll be the next goal. This is actually the one I want to celebrate. I don't really care too much about what happens at 3,000. At 3,000, you get this stuff, memberships. So just like on Twitch, how you could subscribe, supers, which I think are like paid messages, and I don't know what this is. I think this puts some like shopping widget beneath your screen. If you're like, hey, I bought this keyboard, it could show you the keyboard or something. One little step sounds like how I tackle doing the dishes. Yeah, it's really bad for household chores unless you do it like, 7 times a day. And yeah, mentoring will happen in almost exactly 2 hours. So if you're interested in mentoring, stick around for that. I had an idea that I want to write down. Yeah, the Adam Learns Live swag. I don't know when that would happen, if ever. Where was the idea that I had? Where is this? I just wrote this down this morning. Why can't I find it? Did I write it in here? Oh, yeah, I wrote it here already. Wow, I had it on the line. I just thought I wrote it in my phone. Yeah, making a set of chambers and dungeons that are all roughly the same size. I think a proper world map would look even stranger without sprite transitions. Then I think each region can have locked doors or something that allow you to move past them. A mug with OLS on it, a picture of the cat. Let's just throw everything that we know about this stream onto one piece of merch. The most chaotic thing. I wonder how many people would buy that. And then you'd have to explain like everything that's on the mug. It's pretty much like the mower command we used to have, where it's just got all the emojis in one picture. Well, it is very funny. All right, I think we can get to work. So let's start this. I've been dying to do this, by the way. A water tank like yours fits the stream better. Like a 3-gallon jug. Roll into the office with that. People stare at you. All right. So the idea that I had that I just wrote down, which I probably didn't explain, and I just, wrote it down super fast, was, where is it? Mock-up, this one. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting idea. What if the world map were just a bunch of these like micro dungeons? And I think it's pretty cool to do something like that. So I kind of want to. And then there could be doors in each of these, and you only unlock the door after you kill enough enemies. So yeah, this, I think it'd be pretty cool. Excited to see what this world map will look like. It's going to be very boring at first. Remember, we're just rapidly prototyping this. So the world map I was thinking of making originally was just going to be like grassy area, rocky area, or something like that. And that's it. So the whole point of all this is cut as many corners as possible. So yeah, just hand draw a world map for now. So let's go make a world map. So scene, new scene. It is a 2D scene, and we call this world map. And then we save it. Scene. Now we're speaking my language. A room built entirely out of spoons. You know it. All right, so under the world map is a tile map. And the tile map needs a tile set. And wouldn't you know it, we can find the tile set here. Has no source configured. Go to tile set, bottom tab to add one here. Okay, so now we go find the world graphics. Right there. Where do I drag this? There we go. Atlas texture was modified. Would you like to automatically create tiles? I guess yes. Did it just work? No, it's offset wrong. Okay, so we need to fix this. Let's just press this button until it looks good. That looks good. All right. Easy peasy. Okay, now for the... Whoop, that's not right. How do you set the tile size? Maybe the map does that? Tile map? Ah, there it is, tile size. All right, I think it's 24 by 24. That work? Can we like re-slice this up or something? I don't know. What is this? Texture reg. What are you, texture reg? Texture region size. I would guess this has to match the 24 by 24, but then, oh, I see. Oh my God, yeah, of course. But then this has to change. Oh, so this one's actually aligned correctly. Interesting. All right, well, there we go. Now, is everything laid out here such that all of these just work? Or are they in like weird positions after that? Why are these darkened? Huh. also has those multiple dungeons. Binding of Isaac, though, was like each little dungeon room would take up the entire screen. So it wasn't like an overworld map, it was the dungeon map. I think it's a little strange to have this sort of thing for the overworld map, but maybe it's not. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I just need irregular shapes for them. In fact, I should probably write that down. And maybe the world could be randomly generated or something, I don't know. Maybe it would look better to have irregular shapes for these. Maybe we could even randomly generate a world. Oh, that may not be a good idea. May not actually just do anything for us, so. All right, I was busy looking through this. I still don't know why some of these regions are darkened. It's strange too, right? Like, I think I can just start drawing on this, can't I? That is not how you do that. I don't remember how any of this works. Paint. Is this? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, so I can draw with that. Now, can I draw with this one? I can't even select this. I just don't understand why. Is there any pattern to this too? Like, what could possibly explain this weird block? I would understand if maybe this was too big in all dimensions, but like, oh, those aren't darkened. Those are just the tiles themselves. Yeah, weird. What happens if I do this and then click draw? Yeah, it just doesn't even draw the ones that are darkened. Very strange. Okay, well, let's look this up. Godot tile set, some tiles darkened. Oh, are there errors in the editor? Output? No, not really. This was not supposed to be an issue. Pause for this blur. Hey, Patsy. It's going well. Been excited to do game dev. Slap 4 tiles together in a ping. Okay, that's not my problem. Oh my god. Never mean to do that. Some tiles unusable. Invalid tiles. I've never seen this before though. I don't know what's... Huh. Yeah, other people don't seem to have the same problem, or I'm searching for the wrong thing. Release beginning of Q2. I don't know when this would release. I spent a long time yesterday trying to make music for just like the overworld, and I came up with some good musical ideas, but not fitting ones. And I'm a little concerned that it's going to be hard to do that. I love having a problem which makes no sense and shouldn't happen, and no one else seems to be having the same problem. Yeah, I wonder if just restarting the editor would work, or maybe there's some other issue I could figure out here, because this is going to be a problem at some point. And I guess technically it's not a problem now. Oh wait, what's this? Create tiles in non-transparent texture regions. What's that do? Oh, that fixed pretty much everything. Wow. I just randomly clicked that. Okay, so yeah, there's our answer. I can't undo it, can I? Did I undo it? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So yeah, all right, let's take a screenshot of this, because this is definitely not clear what's going on here. So click here. I completely botched highlighting this thing. Yeah. Okay, now let's go write it in Godot. Do we have anything about tile maps in here? Yeah. I need to zoom out a little bit. I really never hit this issue. Okay, well, let's put it in the troubleshooting section then. Troubleshooting. Tile set has unusable darkened tiles. So in this screenshot below, see how some of the bones are darkened? They can't actually be used to... Why is this even a problem though, this, and not with anything else? Hey Tim, thanks for the raid. And welcome in everybody. I'm working on a new game called Idle Ascendants, and we're very much rapidly prototyping. So for example, we're about to make the world map. The world map may look like this in the end. It doesn't need to look great, it just needs to be there and function. And so that's the level of prototyping we're doing. I hope your stream was good. I hope you've all been having a good day so far. I am very excited to be doing this again. If you're curious about the design of all of this, check out that document. I'm just writing a note right now about some issue I ran into in Godot. So in the screenshot below, see how some of the bones are darkened. They can't actually be used. They can't actually be placed as tiles for some reason. Yeah, let's do this. Set this to like 600 or something like that. Tap that in and then write. Whoa, Syntonic. Thanks for gifting 5 subs. Welcome everybody. Oh, tier 3 sub, 5 gifted subs. You're all too nice. I really appreciate it. What was I going to do? I was going to write down how do you fix this? And it's this: create tiles in non-transparent texture regions. So yeah, I don't know why that was needed exactly, but there it is. The solution is to click the 3 dots highlighted above in red and select create tiles in non-transparent texture regions. Yeah, cool. By the way, it's not like I can show the game right now. We've spent 3 hours developing it, and all we have so far is this. A title screen, start new game, and then a way of picking, whoops, then a way of picking your character. And then you click start and it does nothing other than just log. This sure will be an exciting game as a rogue. And that's it. That's the whole game right now. So that's all we got. Hey Durdu. And hey Atomic Man. Okay, so let's go back to our task here. Just hand draw a world map for now. Yeah, so let's do that. All right, we're gonna figure out what we're doing here. Erase. Yeah, so let's go find some foresty stuff. Again, this is not going to be anything super special here. We're just going to take this and draw a rectangle. What? Oh, it's set to eraser still. Okay, looks good. And then draw, what was the other thing that I had here? I didn't write anything else. Okay, whatever. We'll just make something. I'll make this one. All right, there's our world map. It's beautiful. All right, how much of that fits on the screen? Oh, apparently all of it. We probably want this to be zoomed in a bit. It's probably something I should handle in a different part of this. Finally made a little progress on Snailed It. Nice. Yeah, I want to see it. If you want to share a link here, you definitely should. I haven't tuned in your stream consistently, hoping things look up. Is that an Easter project? Snailed It? Probably checks the child region or tile region for non-filled pixels, and if it's over an unknown threshold, it excludes them. Yeah, that's probably what's going on. I didn't look too closely at all the other ones that are not filled in. But yeah, maybe it is too many transparent pixels. All right, so there's our world map. Now, why do we have 400 debugger errors? Cannot create tile. The tile is outside the texture. Or tiles are already present. What? Can I just clear this and run? And whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do that. No, it's still giving me 400 errors. What? That's strange. Has no tile at 57, 2. What is going on here? Oh, create there. I think that should fix this. Although maybe it just cuts down the number of errors. No, it didn't fix it at all. What is happening here? Tile is outside the texture, or tiles are already present in the space the tile would cover. I just don't understand this. There are still some darkened ones here. Oh, maybe it's because of all of that? Oh my God. Hang on a second. I think the graphic itself actually has this whole like alternative tiles in it, doesn't it? No? What is happening here? Like, what are all these orange squares doing? How do I get rid of this? Remove tiles in fully transparent texture regions? That's not, I mean, I guess. I want remove tiles outside the texture. What is this thing? Use texture padding? I don't know what's going on. Solid 2 months behind, but these things happen. Is there, I mean this in like a totally neutral way. Is there a rush? Like, did you promise this to people by a certain time, or is this just like a personal deadline? After a few hours using the mouse, half of my right hand, pinky and ring finger, are weaker than the other fingers. I tried vertical mice and ergo mouse pads. Now I use the MX Master 3S. The hand is still weak after 4 or 5 hours using the mouse. When you say weak, what do you mean exactly? Because the only things that I think, I mean, if you've already tried an ergonomic mouse, I would say the only other options are really like a trackpad or a trackball. And then beyond that, it's like maybe just try using the mouse less, just use the keyboard more, or just take more breaks, or do hand exercises or something as you're using your computer, maybe once per hour. Limited time with the person I'm collaborating with. I see. Oh man, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Very mediocre shirt today. What a change in tone. Go to tileset tab and look for a yellow exclamation mark. You repair it by clicking the 3 dots next to it and removing tiles outside the texture. The thing is, I don't actually have a yellow exclamation mark, and the whole like remove tiles outside the texture is grayed out. I'm not even sure. Alternative tiles isn't. How many shirts do I actually own? I'm not sure. Okay, well, let me search for this error because this is going to be very hard to see if there are actually errors if I have 400 every time I launch the game. So copy error. Tile set throwing lots of errors. Yeah, this one. Oh, solved. No extra orange squares for any missing tiles are not created. Simple tile map. You're actually correct. What? Did you try to code from Godot 3.2 to 4.2? Yeah, only use the UI. I did this too. I don't know how this person just randomly came up with this. Oh, from a tutorial video I linked in? You can see the atlas at that middle only at 11. You want to set tile size here? Tile set. I don't see anything here. Man, this is such a long thread for one issue. Oh, here after adding nothing else to the project, I painted 3 of these tiles that I resized to 32-bit in the tile set editor, causing orange squares to appear. Then I added a single instance to the tile map level scene, hit play. What do I see but 160 errors? I made the mistake of hitting yes on the auto create tiles pop-up. Oh, did I do that too? Okay, well, how do we see if I mess that up? I'm not totally sure. All right, let's just redo this whole thing. Yeah, let's redo the whole thing. This is just delete this. Okay, now let's try again. Add a tile map. This should be like stupidly easy to do. So I don't know what's going on here. Now we do that. Now we go to tile set. Now we drag in the world thing and we say no to this. Would you like to automatically create tiles? No. But I do want tiles. And now I got to set this stuff again. 24 by 24. The tile map itself needs to be 24 by 24. Oh, I guess I see what was happening there. So now I'd have to manually make all of these. I don't want to do that. How do I even do that? Paint, line, rect. Oh, I'm not in the tile set. Oh, there we go. All right, we just click. Oh, and if I drag, okay. Well, this is going to be tedious because I would need to click pretty much everything. I guess I could have it automatically do it and then undo the other ones. I wonder how you make it automatically create these. Shift click. Oh, shift click is to make one big tile. I can just drag. But it'd be nice if it could do this itself and then I just get rid of other ones. How do you erase one of these? Oh, like this? Okay. Oh my God, I gotta redo this again then. Let's just see if we can Command Z until we get back to our old tile map. Will that work? Yes. All right, now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into tile set and we're just gonna erase all of these. Oh, we can't. Isn't that lovely? Oh wait, there's an exclamation mark. What? What? It wasn't there before. I know for sure it wasn't there. Because Syntonic said that, and I'm like, this isn't even enabled for me. Oh my God. This is really stupid. All right, well, fine. Let's write a note about. Oh, now it doesn't even show up again. I Command Z so that I could see. Oh man, yeah, this is messed up. Yep, I have no way of even proving that this was a problem. Oh man, whatever. All right, I don't know how to show this again, so we'll just write tile set has tiles outside of the texture area. I really want to show a picture of this though. Oh, you know what we could do? We could make a new tile map this time and just say we'll call this delete me. Oh wait, no, we can't do that. We call it delete me over here. Delete me, we go and make a new tile set, go over to tile set, drag this thing over here, and then say yes. How did it work this time? I swear, this thing doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know. So I can't even, it's not a free tile set, no. I could make a fully new project to take a picture of this, but I don't want to do that. Maybe I could just take the picture of what this person had. Do they have a screenshot of tiles outside of their thing? They don't. Oh, there they do. Maybe, yeah, maybe something like this. Copy image address. So the problem looks something like this, where you have orange squares indicating tiles, and they're outside of the texture region. This happens sometimes when you have Godot automatically. What was that option called that Godot did? Let's just delete this thing. Clear. New tile set. Yeah, I want to take a picture of this thing. When you have Godot automatically create tiles. Okay. Hey, Bazzotti. This isn't exactly an idle game. I know it's got idle right in the name, but it's a little different from the traditional one, I would say. Hey, Ryvan. Never really chat much. Been lurking since the times of Botland. Yeah, I just saw that you followed, I think yesterday or today or something. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm very surprised you've been lurking way back since the Botland days. Could always screenshot the VOD. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And yeah, both you and Atomic then said that. Also, I hate to lose. I believe the issue could be because you changed some tile sizes and texture regions after it already generated it. Oh, you might be right about that. Yeah. All right, so I say yes to this, and then I change the... Ah, it's very smart. Very smart. Okay, so yeah. Now I can take a picture of this myself too. Okay, very interesting. Okay. So the problem looks something like this. Where you have orange squares indicating tiles and they're outside the texture region. This can happen when you set a, what is it called? Set a tile set texture, I guess. Set a tile set texture. Have Godot automatically create tiles. See below. And then change the texture region size, yeah. Which will bump the automatically created. Actually, it's only when you enlarge it and then enlarge the texture region size. Yeah. Irfan, thanks for resubbing. Wondering if you've read Atomic Habits. I have, and maybe you were the person who commented in the video that you tried the technique since reading Atomic Habits. I read Atomic Habits after coming up with that technique, and I don't recall it being in Atomic Habits exactly. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. The point is it helped me out for that time. What's your take on latest AI developments? Devin, GPT, are you scared that programming will become obsolete? Before I answer that really fast, there's the new video that we're talking about. And yeah, Bazati, I think at least the overview section is what's going to be important there. Anyway, what's my take on latest AI development? So the way I kind of see it is that right now we're in a great position. Like the tools are just tools and they're helping people out. In the future, what my concern would be that concern is that AI like kills more jobs than it creates. And someone had mentioned this last time that I brought this up, and I didn't get to respond, which is that like, yeah, why is that a problem? Isn't that utopia basically? And here's what I think the issue is. You talk about something like a universal basic income. I think this is a long-term solution that we will have a very difficult time transitioning to. So the way I look at it is like AI is a consolidation of power, and it's going to be held by a few very large companies. Like if you think about it, you know, OpenAI and Microsoft and Google, and there's going to be an incentive to profit as much as possible off of this. So if you do end up killing more jobs than you create, and other people can't, you know, go start their own mega company to make their own AI and start controlling the machinery of all of this, then yeah, what happens when, I don't know, like social welfare programs struggle to keep up and everything? And that's where UBI comes in, but it's like, does it come in fast enough? Or is there human suffering before that? So that's my concern mostly, is that interim period between right now when they're tools and in the future, possibly when they kind of take over our jobs. So, and maybe that never happens, but I think that we've already seen it knock out some jobs, typically content creation jobs. Durdu, thanks for subbing. So I hope that answers the question. I don't think programming will become obsolete in the near future, though. Yeah. Yeah, but right now we're living in a great time because it's like, oh, well, it just makes my life easier and it doesn't make my life unnecessary. Has created this fear and somehow he turned out sort of fine in the big picture. I totally agree. This is historically that's what's happened, and yet if you look at the kinds of opportunities it created, there were new ones and everything was fine. And I've never had this fear for something before this. So it may be that this technology never gets more mature than that, but otherwise, I mean, a lot of times people are always saying humans are innately creative or something, and computers can never be creative. And now we see, I mean, they're not making like amazing pictures or videos yet, but they've definitely gotten better, dramatically better in the last like couple of years. All right, enlarge, which will bump the automatically created tiles into off of the texture. So to fix this, you could either manually erase tiles, or you could click this, which isn't even highlighted. This is what I don't understand, is like, it doesn't know that there are tiles outside the texture. I think the only way I got this to be highlighted, let me first take a picture of this in case I want this. Or choose this option. The problem is that the option selected, the option above isn't enabled by default. So I think you need to click the eraser and then it enables it? No, do I just like click a random spot? How did I get this to be enabled? Oh man, that's I don't know what you do. Yeah. There's some way we got this to be enabled, because like I said, I know for sure I looked at this option, it wasn't enabled. I'm clearly looking at it right now and it's not enabled. Maybe if I click select over here. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We did something. Maybe we started putting down tiles. Paint. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. Interesting. Let's click here and try drawing it in the map. Then go back to tile set. Maybe you just run the scene. Did that work? No. What? Oh man, Crows, thanks for subbing. Have I seen Sora? I don't know what Sora is other than the Keyblade character, so I don't think so. Didn't it get enabled when you said no to auto generation? No, I don't think so, because wait. Yeah, no, it wasn't that, because I had these squares and auto generation is what created the squares. Oh, OpenAI video. Oh, I just didn't know it by that name. Yeah, I saw Marquez's video on YouTube about it, and that looked very impressive. I'm just gonna click this button and then I don't know. I don't know how you get that to be enabled. So then that's the problem. But we know the solution. We just don't know how to. We don't know how to click that. I don't know how to enable this. I just messed with settings and clicked a bunch of things, and it eventually lit up. Yeah, how? Maybe clicking the play button of the main game? I don't think that's it though. We somehow got there to be a yellow exclamation mark there. I don't know. I think this is a bug in Godot. Can you try zooming out to view the entire tile set? Maybe it's only when it's like dramatically off the tile set. No, it doesn't look like that. Maybe this needs to also be changed. Maybe I need to manually draw a tile. I don't know. Could be anything, right? I can't even manually draw a tile. Maybe I need to erase these first. And then select. No, I think that's the issue though. I think I need to figure out how to get a tile to be here. Maybe we select it like, I don't know how you do this. Edit? Oh, there. Okay, so I just can't draw outside of this boundary. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I got this to work. So strange. Okay, well, I'm not going to spend more time doing this. I really like it when my notes have, you know, proper stuff in it, but at least we know what the problem is. Let's delete this. So now when we start the game, we shouldn't have that issue. Yeah, good. A waste of time. All right. Okay, so next, we need to go from that whole something, I wrote the word exciting somewhere, yeah, this. We need to go from here into the world map. So this is where we're going to emit a signal, and this signal is going to go all the way up to the game. So we have a var selected class. What is this? Character select screen. And what makes the character select screen? Character select screen. Good, it's the game. So we just need to connect this. So we add a signal, which is going to be selected character class string. Good, and then emit this. Emit with the selected class. And then we connect to this in the game. And this is going to be, where's show character select screen? Here it is, start game. So set next scene var node colon equals this, and then node dot connect. Is it selected character? Yeah, it is. And then start game with character. Okay, good. So now func start game with character class. So we're going to show the world map, and then we're going to instantiate your character. Hey, Jess. Can't wait to play this when you're done. Oh, love this game idea. Reminds me of Gambit. It's, let's see how the prototype goes. So I think it's going to be fun, but I think people might be expecting a maybe grander vision than I currently have. And I think there's a very likely problem, which is that the game is fun to start, and then there's like there's a slump at some point, and we probably need something to do. A lot of idle games end up throwing in like 40 different systems. There's the battle system and crafting and some like adventuring system and I don't know, a million different things. And that way, whenever one system gets to be a little bit boring, you go to another system and you're like, oh, I'll go make progress here. And it just kind of highlights my problem with idle games. Slumps doesn't matter from a marketing perspective. No, it matters, even from a marketing perspective. Like, if there's a slump in the game, then people might leave reviews saying, like, game started out fun, and then at 2 hours, it was just boring, and I'd seen everything. And then you see enough negative reviews, and now people don't buy the game anymore. So, yeah, I gotta still think about that. But whatever, we'll figure that out from the prototype. Hey, Boffy. All right, so to do instantiate your character, I think we should have this working now. Let's go try. So now you click, this, you click this, and you click start game, and we go into our world map. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, so hand draw world map done. Transition to that scene after being a character. Note, at this point, I should probably stop going through the title screen every time and just automatically go directly to the game. Sounds good to me. So instead of show title screen, we'll now allow this to be false. And so if show title screen, good. Otherwise, just start game. Not even start game. We'll say like debug, go directly to game. And that debug go directly to game is going to be just start game with character, and we'll pass in, I don't know, the warrior. Okay, great. Now, here's what we can do. We can now uncheck in the game, show title screen, and now we should just go directly to the world map. Yeah, nice. Now, why was that? What's this? Parameter character class is there? I don't care. Yeah, so instantiate your character. So that's done too. Put your character somewhere in it. So we don't have a character class. And this is where we got to start thinking about like, how is this going to be laid out? So you have, I want to think about like your character and then enemies and kind of what's in common. So on the overworld, you have a sprite and they can move and you control yours. Or at least you can control yours, and enemies can't. And I guess there's some like some pointer to the information that this represents. So in your case, its character was skills and stats and maybe a name and a whole bunch of other stuff. And in the enemy case, it's going to be something different. So how about we get it down to the most basic thing? For right now, it's a sprite and some movement. And you being able to control yours means yours needs an input handler. Hey, Wendy. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. So let me think about this. Let's say we had a like overworld character and we put an animated sprite 2D on it and probably some collider stuff. So this would need a script, and maybe we call it, overworld character dot GD. And then this is what handles movement. So what I'm kind of wondering is maybe we should have a script that is one for you that has, I guess even automating movement is something your characters do too. How's the prototype going? It's going well. I've spent an hour so far today, and we mostly struggled with some wacky issue with tile sets where there were all these orange squares outside of the texture, and I couldn't get rid of them. So that took a decent amount of time. And so now all we have is this is the world map. It's green and it's yellow, and that's it. That's our game. But we're gonna, I think by the end of today, we should have the world map and then enemies spawning and your character being able to move around. I think I could get that done in about 4 hours. So yeah, let's keep looking at this. So overworld character would handle movement. And then all this pointer to other stuff. I'm trying to think of how I'd want to do that. I guess we could assign a different script and then put an overworld character in it. So Godot or GD script by default is a lot of like inheritance based coding, and it's not multiple inheritance. So it's object oriented in that you have a script, and at the very top of it, it always has to extend something. And so if you want this to extend multiple things, it's just not possible. So you usually use composition for something like that. I'm just thinking like, what kind of composition do we want for this? Is it that you have some like player character which has an overworld character, and that's how it knows that it can move? And maybe, yeah, I think let's start with that at least. I'll just edit this really fast. Maybe make an overworld character.gd that just handles automated or handles movement, can be automated or not, and then eventually have a player character that can have all of the skills / abilities, whatever else. Okay. So in this case, we want a new scene, and we're going to have this be overworld character. I'm going to make a new scripts, overworld character. And then we're going to add in an animated sprite. Now for this, how about this? Let's just instantiate a warrior by default. Where's warrior here? Okay, cool. So there is our character. Why is it not animated? I have to click the play button. It's set to autoplay though. And I guess we should attach a script to, oh no, it already has one. Hey, Coldfire. All right, so there's our overworld character. It's got a script. The script doesn't do anything. We save this as overworld character. And then we need to go instantiate this from the game. So the instantiator character is going to be somewhere. I have a switch on like, are we a warrior or not? Yeah, this stuff. Match character class. So just copy paste this for now. And go back to here. All right, yeah, warrior sprite, mage sprite, and then the rogue sprite. All right, this stuff we don't need. Okay, so your overworld character gets a sprite underneath it. So we wouldn't even add this here, I guess. We would have it get added automatically. Or I guess we could set this. But it's going to be a scene that gets instantiated in, and it should automatically have... In fact, I should have already done this. Oh yeah, I did already do this. When I did this. Yeah. Make an animated sprite, and then add it somewhere. Okay. So what we're really going to instantiate first is going to be the overworld character. Overworld character. And that is an overworld character. And for that to work, we need it to know that that's the class name of this. Then we load res scenes overworld character tscn as packed scene. We can actually preload this. I'm not going to worry about that for right now. And then the overworld character gets that added. And then we add the character, probably to the world map. World map equals this. And world map dot add child. All right, how is that looking? Probably good. Let's delete this now. All right, so when I hit play, we should see a warrior somewhere. Could not find type overworld character in the current scope. Where? Game line 34 here. Can't find it. Did I not save that? No definition found. Did I type this wrong? No, I didn't. Class name, did I do that wrong? No. Huh. I'm not sure. I saved this. Yeah, strange. Let's try to figure that out. Scenes overworld character. Maybe I didn't call it that. It's possible, but overworld character. I'll just copy paste it from here. Rename. Res slash scenes slash. No, I think I had it typed correctly. Let's get rid of that. Maybe that's a problem here. This was an animated sprite 2D. Because that's what's in the scene. Okay, yeah, I think that's what I'm doing wrong. But then how did I make a character select screen? I didn't do anything there. In character select option. Right there. This worked. So then this is what I must have to do. How'd I do this one? Scene.instantiate. Yeah, so I'd already loaded this. I did not instantiate. I wonder if it's the load part that's failing. Let's try that at least. Scene as a packed scene. Yeah. This. So this scene. Okay, let's try that. So now it's line 36 that's failing. Yeah, which is this. And it's just saying can't find overworld character. I'm still not sure how that's possible, unless maybe that this isn't loaded by default and I need to like auto load it or something. I would find that strange since I didn't do that with character select screen. Right? This just knows that it is. Wait a sec, that wasn't even the problem. It's character select option. Yeah, and this just has a class name at the top. I'm gonna delete all this. I don't think there's an issue there. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe I treated that as an error, although I wasn't seeing squigglies there. All right, yeah, I'm not sure what's causing this right now. Cannot find overworld character in the current scope. The only reason I would expect this to happen is if we don't have the class name defined for this character. And we do here. I didn't make a typo, right? No. Yeah, I don't know. Please explain why a 3D file cannot be inserted into an engine. When opened, it appears empty. I think that's something you should probably look online for, because it could be any number of things, and I think me trying to debug this over text is going to be somewhat difficult. One workaround, comment out the class name statement, save, uncomment. Wait, so this is potentially a Godot problem? Comment that out, save, uncomment, save. Okay, no, I don't think that fixed it. Hey, Funky Monkey. Maybe there's a problem here. Can we go to, what is this called? Overworld character? I don't even think you can open them from here. Yeah. Scripts, overworld character. It's opening it here. What if I press? What's happening right now? I gotta take a break soon. Yeah, so it's this. Cannot find overworld character. I don't know how this is failing because well, how about this? Let's try something different. Let's try instantiating. No, let's not try doing this. Let's take a break and let's come back and let's. So I need to, I guess, try instantiating the character select option, even though it's not what we want. It should shed some light on what's failing. Or just try restarting Godot. Okay. All right, is it jump time? It's jump time. Dead Robot Dev, check out the idle command now. Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, I'll be back in a bit. GG Windy. Top 3 finish. Only took 5 games. Close the game. I'm both congratulating and taunting you. Okay, so here's what I figure we'll try first, because this is so much easier than the other option, is we just completely restart Godot. Let's just close this. Okay. Now, I got to make absolutely certain we're not going to miss the mentoring session that I had scheduled. It is for about an hour and 10 minutes from now. So yeah, next break is going to be really important. So let's see if we can figure out this problem, because this is not a problem I should be running into at all. Interesting. This is actually a different issue. Can't call instantiate on a null value, which just means that the sprite scene path isn't valid. Oh yeah, what? This isn't even the right code. What's going on here? Should have just been overworld character instantiate. Scene. No, wait, no, never mind. That's correct. Why can't it load this? So restarting the editor is what I needed to do, and that was it. It's messed up. Yeah, maybe preloading it would probably work, but this should also work. And I'm not sure why this wouldn't. Especially because we did this here. Set sprite scene path to any of these. And then... Oh, you know what? I might not have a character class here that's proper. Yeah, I typed warrior with 4 R's. Oh my god, it only has 3 R's in it. Okay, well, that's that problem. We have a warrior. Okay, and there it is. You can barely see it there. I definitely need to zoom in on this stuff. Yeah, it's right up there. Okay, that was stupid. That was a really, really stupid problem. So GD script has an issue then where you might need to relaunch the entire editor. Language server can't work, editing a script, creating a function, tool script, blah, blah, blah. I can't. Yeah, I guess I'll just add a new one at the bottom here. Can't find... hey, what did you just say to me? Thanks for resubbing. So is the Roog. It is pretty much archive trash though, Dead Robot. I extracted all the value from there. Yeah. So what is even the problem that we ran into here? It was like, I don't know, can't find a class whose class name you definitely set. Just restart Godot. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I really dislike problems like that where it's a problem with the editor itself, because you would naturally think it's a problem you did, but it isn't in this case. Or maybe there's something I'm supposed to do after making a character class. I don't know. Okay, so cool. We got this working, and we probably should have some sort of default case on our matches, because otherwise it's going to come back to bite us. So how do you check for any variants that you didn't capture? Probably an underscore. Yeah, I think it's just an underscore. Single underscore, yeah. Yeah. So we'll just have this throw an error. Assert false unrecognized character class. Yeah. I'll do the same thing over here. Although this one should never be a problem, because you should only ever have these 3 character classes there. But in the future, you could have some number of different ones or different selection on them. Hey, Timon. Have you ever considered learning Vim or NeoVim? I've learned Vim in the past. I just don't really use it. I think there's there's always kind of this implication that, like, wait, if you know Vim, then why aren't you using it? Like, and I think for me, you know, I have the Vim command, which kind of explains a little bit, but it was that as an editor on its own, it was much less user friendly, I think, than something like VS Code or Sublime, where you just installed add-ons and everything just worked. Like, having to touch my Vim RC just felt like a nightmare. And I don't know, maybe Vim has gotten a lot better. Maybe that's part of the thing that NeoVim helps address. I just never gave it a shot again. I don't really think my editing productivity is bad, I guess. I'll have to restart when I change static stuff, or when I change scripts which aren't part of the same scene. Yeah. Yeah, and it's, I don't know. These are the kinds of things that it's like, I like Godot. I will continue to use Godot, at least even just for prototyping. But, you know, to be treated, this sounds like I'm being super judgmental. I don't mean it this way, but I just want to still say the sentence. To be treated seriously as a game engine, you need to work out these sorts of issues, because these are the things that cause a lot of time to be lost for kind of no reason. Scope creep their prototype into a full project. Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping I start a new repo. Yeah. Okay, so we now instantiate the character. Let us go change probably everything to just look a little bit bigger, right? Can I go back to the title screen? How do I do this? Done. So like, here's our game. If we were to full screen this, or not full screen, but like, you know, make it take up most of the screen. I mean, this looks fine, other than the font looking ugly. I don't care about that. And this is legible. So then you pick a character, and there's our mage. I feel like this should be a little bigger. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Let's not worry about that for right now. Let's just instantiate you at the right part of the world. So here's your character. We add you in. We need to put you in the right spot. And that's what this thing is right here. Sprite offset equals 1212. There's probably a way to get the size of this. Sprite dot, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that should be fixed eventually. All right, so now we skip the title screen and we play. And there's our character. I guess I do want this to start like maximized. How do I do that? Mode maximized. So now when I play the game, it's going to just, yeah, it's going to be visible. Nice. All right, nice. Making progress. I know it looks like it's slow progress, but it's progress. So put your character in it somewhere, make an overworld character that handles movement, allow for moving your character. Do this with right click to move. There won't be collision with anything at first. Yeah, so let's go make character movement work. And for that, let's go to overworld character. Okay, so var target, or like, yeah, target position, whatever. Sure, fine. And I want to make sure this actually, we'll say in addition to that, like var has target equals false. And then we need to process a mouse click. So how do we do that? Mouse event, I think. What do I call this thing? What did I even use mouse clicking for? Selected. Yeah, there it is. All right, so just copy paste this whole thing. This was GUI input though. I think we want this to be used on an unhandled input. Yeah, let's try that. Unhandled input. So if it's a button and you press the right mouse button, then just print hello, clicky, whatever. All right, let's try that. Target position has no static type. Not anymore. Yeah, let's try this again. Target has no static type. You think I would have fixed it for both? I just felt so good about saying not anymore. I barreled right through it. Is it running? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I right click and we should see it in the console over here. Yep, clicky. Cool. So now instead of clicky, we're going to say target position equals wherever the mouse is. This needs to be translated into world coordinates though. And for right now, they're the same, but they won't always be the same, I guess. Print target position. Can you use commas like that? I don't even think that's possible. I think this is going to fail. Oh, this is the problem with having this be full screen, I guess, is I can't see the console. All right, so what, 0, 0 is up here? Yeah. And then we go positive in both directions. Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with that. I want to figure out how to make this thing spawn. I guess we say windowed and we just set a size here. 1920 by like 800. Yeah. And that way we can still see the bottom of the screen. That didn't work. What? This isn't 1920. Yeah, what? I think I have some scale thing set. Do I? What's even going on? What is going on there? Huh. Do I have Mac OS scaling? I do, yeah. Because this is actually a 4K screen. So I got to double both of these things? 3840 by 1600. Oh, that works. Okay, cool. Yeah. There's a point. There a reason you're not using input mapping feature in Godot? Um, you mean this stuff here? Is there a right click by default? And part of the reason is just rapid prototyping. I mean, that's the short answer. I'm just doing things to get by. Is there a right click here? Oh, there's so many of these. I don't see one. I know I can add one. I know I could set it to an input, but yeah, it's just for the sake of rapid prototyping. Yeah. Okay, so I got part of this working, but actually not entirely what I wanted to have working here. For whatever reason, I had this set to absolute, but 0, 0 isn't what I think it is. Initial position is used to set initial position. Why? The Y is set to 0. Why is it not at 0? It's starting here. This is some number of pixels down the screen. It's about 111 pixels down. I wonder if we could... Wait, there's some other problem here too. 1600 isn't really... Whatever, this is good enough. I don't care. What was I doing before this? Target position, right. So I have this in terms of the screen coordinates. And so now I want to turn it in terms of world coordinates. So I would need to know where the world position is. So this is going to be var screen coords. And now convert to world coordinates. The only way for this to be able to do this is to know where the world is right now. For now, how about we just skip this? Let's just set the target position equal to the screen coords, and then set has target equals true, and then we'll make a what is it, process? I don't remember what it's called. So we're gonna look at it in code Godot RG process. I think it's physics process. Search for an underscore. Yeah, physics process. Okay, so we're gonna interpolate to, so position equals, I wonder if it just, yeah, nice, it does know. We can't actually do it this way though. I guess we really need to do something like speed equals 100. And then target position minus position normalized times 2 times delta, yeah. It's pretty good. And then if, neat. Everything just works. All right, let's try that out. Now you right click in your character. What is going on? Target position. Position not normalized. Speed times delta. Oh wait, this is plus equal. Yeah, nice. Why is this? Oh, whoops. I see what's going on. I wanted this to be zoomed in a little bit more. I messed this stuff up. I think we should just set a scale here. Let's just do this. I think fractional scales are actually bigger. Yeah, what if I just set this to 0.5 and then get rid of this stuff? Nope, wrong direction. That's better. I guess we do want this to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, this looks better, I think. It just starts jittering. It's got to be if it's less than the speed, I think. Less than speed times delta. Or less than or equal to, maybe? No, it's less than. That way it goes roughly to where you want it to go. No, it's still jittering. This should be the... Oh, this has length on it. It's less than speed times delta. Maybe we do need equals, but I don't think that's what would stop the jittering here. Yeah, no, it's not. I should probably just print out what's going on here. Print distance to target. Yeah. So it gets to the point where it's going between like 0.01. We could just say if it's less than a larger number here, I guess. But speed times delta, delta is typically going to be what, like 0.016? And we're not ever getting to that value here. How did I mess this part up, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. We're moving by speed times delta at any given time. So if we're close enough to our target, I don't know, I'll just set this to 2. If we're like 2 pixels away, then we're good. This will still mess up, though, if you ever get to large enough speed values, because you won't be able to get to that speed anymore. 5. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm just an idiot. This should still be speed times delta. I just never do anything when you don't have a target. If has target, then do all this stuff. Yeah, we'll just say, yeah, move to target. Delta, and then put all of this into here. There. Now we're good. No more jitters. Yeah, and now I think this has to be a less than. Okay, so converting to world coordinates, we're not actually doing yet. So if you ever could offset the map, which, I mean, eventually you should be able to do, then there's going to be a problem here. We should probably also allow for you dragging the world map for now. Won't be collision with anything, and even then, this is a prototype. Yeah, so you can walk off the map, that's fine. Maybe the camera follow your character, and then maybe also allow you to pan the map. Allow for panning the map with left click plus drag. All right, let's go do that. And then we need to change we need to fix the mouse click. Fix right clicking to move so that it's in world coordinates. Okay, so dragging the map is something that happens on the map, not here. And then also, don't we need to mark that this is handled? Godot, mark that input is handled. How do you do this? Set input as handled? The event will not spread anymore. It's viewport? What? Stops input from propagating further down the scene tree. I wonder how it knows. So I do viewport dot set input as handled. I don't even think this is a thing I can do unless I get the viewport. Yeah, we probably need to. Is that right? Get viewport not found in base cell? How do you get a viewport? Get viewport. It's probably like get tree.get viewport or something. Get underscore viewport. That should have been obvious. Come on. Okay, yeah, looks like it's working. Great, so delete this whole distance to target thing, and now left click to drag, so we're going to take all of this and put it into the world map, which as far as I'm concerned, needs a script. Let's go add one here, we'll call this world map. Sounds good, delete all this. So unhandled input, we're going to have it so that you can left click to drag. We could probably just make it so you're controlling a camera here, which would probably make things a lot easier than controlling a world map. Right. I think so. Can I just add a camera? Yeah, I think that's how we should do these things. Out of curiosity here, character body 2D. Yeah. Does camera have anything beneath it then? No, it doesn't. So let's delete all of this. And now I should be able to move the camera around, and that should control what I'm looking at. Where's the camera? Did I not save this? It's right there. Yeah, I didn't save this. Okay, remote cam. No, there's no camera anymore. What is going on? That's strange. There's the world map. Yeah, the local thing has a camera here. Can I change the offset of this? I mean, I can, but it's the local version. Okay, well then let's change the offset over here and see if this does anything. So we'll set the offset to 18. How's my character cut off? No. So I think this camera by default is not doing what I probably needed to do. And I wonder if we need this at a node farther up, or if we put this in a different part of the scene. I'm not actually sure. Let's search for camera. Oh, prototype land had this. Interesting. We can just copy what that did. Can we load that up? Did I get this working on there? Where's project list? I think you just need to open up a different instance of Godot. New window. Prototype land. I don't want to convert anything, except for then this isn't going to run. Fine, convert full project. It's still not going to run. Didn't I? Oh, wait. Whoa, what am I doing? Darn it. I downloaded Godot 3 for that very reason. I'm an idiot. What did we change? I changed everything. Oh, boy. Well, let's just do an old get reset hard over here. And then let's launch the old version of Godot. Please run. Okay, I made it middle click drag is how you control this. So now how does that work? Camera has a script. It checks to see if wheel up or wheel down is pressed, and then does all this stuff. Oh, and then also had arrow keys. The arrow keys don't seem to do anything. WASD does something. Oh, I guess left arrow and right arrow are actually just the WASD keys. Okay. Well, anyway, this is exactly the movement I want. So let's do this. But then camera isn't told it as, oh, it's made current. Maybe I hadn't done that. Oh, maybe there's always a camera then that's current. In fact, that's not even a thing that exists anymore. There's no current It's just enabled. That is a good question. How do we even do that? Huh. I don't know. I guess it's changed. I wonder if I should just throw it into the world. Let's try that. Add camera. Okay, now what? Does this show up in our remote thing? It does. Weird. Yeah, maybe you just can't put it as a child of a canvas. It's not working though. Oh. Yeah, not working. This is our camera, but it's not actually changing our view into the world. Maybe, is there a current thing anymore? No, it's gone. I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to use camera anymore. With that said, we can still add this script to this. Camera. And put this into scripts. And then paste in what I had over in here. No, no, no. Select this. All right, so extends camera 2D. So velocity is dragging, speed. Reset our velocity back to nothing. Change zoom. Sure, whatever. Let's just save all this. I don't know. Let's see if it works. I don't think it will because I'm pretty sure, yeah, button wheel up not declared. You mean mouse button wheel up? Why, yes, I did. Initial zoom has no static type, treated as an error. Okay, where might initial zoom be? Equals zoom. Rest of these should be good. Now viewport size has no static type. Really got to be careful about all these things, huh? Can't infer because this doesn't have a static type. I'm pretty sure this is just a vector too. Hey, there we go. Okay, so now we run into an infinite amount of debugger errors. Up arrow, down arrow, they don't exist. I think it's like UI left, UI right. Let's just search for arrow and just replace all these with UI underscore. Then there's action pressed for shift and control. Let's just delete that. I don't care about that. Either way, this still isn't going to do anything. Yeah, so now we're presumably moving the camera, and the camera just doesn't actually have a view into our world. Property pressed is not present on... Oh, we need to cast it to a certain kind of event. All right, I'll worry about that stuff later. But I'm pretty sure we're moving the camera around, and it's just not showing as anything. In fact, if we just print out print position, I think... This is the wrong game. Yeah, so the position's printing, and we can move it. Well, I can't drag to move, which is kind of interesting. Why can't I drag to move? Event.position. Oh, it's because I'm supposed to use the middle mouse. Oh my God. All right, so yes, we can drag to move. So we can see this, but we're not seeing it update. So now how do we use this? Godot camera 2D. Gotta keep an eye on time. Forces the screen to scroll following this node. Makes it easier and faster to program scrollable scenes than manually changing the position of canvas item-based nodes. They register themselves in the nearest viewport node. Only one camera can be active per viewport. If no viewport is available, camera will register in the global viewport. Node is intended to be a simple helper to get things going quickly. For the real implementation, do I want to use C#? I'm not sure. I think we'll stress test the prototype and try putting, you know, like 10 times the number of characters. And if it seems like it's being handled just fine, maybe I won't switch. Maybe I still will. I'm not sure what I want to do. I might not even use Godot for the final game. Okay, I am now beginning to think that the way that the camera works is by modifying the viewport and not its own position. Although that doesn't sound right now that I say it. Transform. Yeah, its position is set here. I don't actually think that's a problem. I just think, yeah, none of these things are going to do anything because it's just not being used as the camera. There's probably a viewport that is being... Oh, so what am I doing? Darn it. Reset, reset, reset. I didn't mean to modify the local version. I meant to modify the remote version. Does game have its own camera then? Because this is a canvas layer. Maybe that's the problem. That we need a camera above this. Oh, if that's the case, this is going to be kind of annoying. Hey, yo. Yeah, that would be kind of annoying. Because it means that this can't exist anymore like that. Oh, no. So what if I made this a node 2D, make scene root, and then I'm going to need to change how we manage scenes. Oh, the camera really should still only exist in the world map. I don't know. I think this is going to break everything anyway, right? Doesn't necessarily break anything. Let's delete this node and put it into the game now. And then give it the script that we have, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. Remy, thanks for resubbing. Decided to show up 40 minutes early today. What's for lunch? I think Indian food. Or ravioli. It's gonna start with, the cuisine type will start with I no matter what. Indian or Italian. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is quite a shame. Oh, you know what? It's probably because I'm using a canvas layer in the first place. And maybe canvas layer can't be follow viewport. Maybe that's what I mean. All right, well, that fixed that. It wasn't the canvas layer thing, it was the follow viewport. Non-existent function set input as handled. So it's in viewport now, not tree. So should we fix this stuff? Should this go into the world map? I want to say yes. So let's delete this and let's set this back to what it was. So this becomes the scene root. This goes away. We go back into the world map. We give this a camera again. We give it the correct script. Then we start this and everything should work just fine. Yeah. All right, so I want that to be left click, not middle click. So mouse button. Oh, this is zooming. Does zooming just work? Oh, would you look at that? It does, although it's in the wrong direction. And it's also like kind of super broken. Yeah, wow, wow, wow. All right. Why are you broken? Change zoom. Should zoom in is true. That's mouse up, which is what I would expect. Oh, I think this comes back to that there were some issues over here. I don't know how much of this mattered. Pressed is not necessarily on this, so we need to cast. Yeah. I wonder what happens if this cast can't work. Mouse event. if it's input. So now everything here would be based on this and this. Then input mouse motion. So var motion event. It's a weird way to have to do things, but it's all because of the excuse me, it's all because of the warnings that I set in Godot. All right, did we just fix half the errors now? Trying to assign this to, oh, you can't just do this no matter what. Oh boy, fine. If event is input mouse event button, then we do this. And then we check everything in here. Yeah. All right, now we're down to just one error. What is that? Property size is not present on the inferred type viewport. Size is not present on viewport. Can't even see what get viewport goes to. That seems unusual. Also, this isn't even pointing to the right line. Thanks, Asen. Let me know if that's how you pronounce your name, Asen, like Jason, or if it's something different. Because one thing I've found about YouTube is that more people use like sort of real names versus online handles. And I don't know if that's just the default, is like it takes your display name for something you set for a Google account or something. But yeah, on Twitch, it's like, you know, it's a bunch of online names. So I can't see what get viewport is. I don't know why, but let's go in the documentation and find out what get viewport is. Should be able to find this maybe through here. Oh, it is pronounced correctly. Okay, cool. All right. Well, welcome in, Asen. Yeah, dead robot dev. Viewport. I guess what we really want to search for here is viewport, because I can assume the get viewport returns a viewport. And then we want to get the size of the viewport, which apparently we can't do the way I was doing it. How do we do this? I don't see anything here. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Which suggests to me that this only had a size because of some parent thing that existed. Is that even what the problem is here? Property size is not present on the inferred type viewport. May be present on a subtype. I would need to know what this even is. Let's just run this way. You have beginner's level lessons on how to program and stuff? No, I haven't done that. I think the closest I've done is beginner things for specific programs like Godot, but it probably wouldn't cover what exactly you want. I do have a command. Let me find this. Yeah, I'm going to just copy paste this in. But my advice for learning programming to begin with, it's not a tutorial or anything, but it's at least the advice I give. We can't even call get viewport here. I wonder why not. We can't call get tree either. I bet we can't call anything here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. It's almost like I'm not even on this line, or the language server just broke or something like that. It is getting a viewport size. So I should probably just set a variable here and figure out what viewport is. Yeah, it has this. I just can't call this function. Too bad. Okay, then let's do this the harder way. Var testeroni viewport equals get viewport. All right, let's try that out. What would you say would be considerably hard to make in Godot? What kind of games? What's the shortcoming? I haven't used Godot for so long and other engines for so long that I'd be able to answer that exactly. I assume that you would run into some issues with I don't know, kind of writing more advanced things in Godot. So other engines, it's not even necessarily that they'd be able to do it better. It's just that they might have some default. So for example, I know in Unity, there's like a friction material, and I think Godot has some way of controlling friction maybe, but is it as well fleshed out as Unity? I don't know. The other thing is I would say it probably doesn't handle the same level of complexity and just kind of the scene tree as Unreal would. Unreal seems like super optimized for having tons of objects in a scene with any number of vertices, and you know, just handles all the level of detail you need for you. And I don't know. So yeah, I think Godot is just not as mature a game engine. This was merged in, by the way. Oh, cool. I think I have a reminder to check this somewhere, but I will copy paste what you said. Oh, cool. It copied the color. I don't remember it ever doing that before. All right, so we should be able to get to here again. Let's try this out. That's not the right one. Where's the right one? Oh, it's over on my other monitor. There we go. All right, so yeah, what is testeroni? It's an object, but like, I want to know what kind of object it is. Node path is root. So wait, it truly just is a node, but it has a size. And viewport doesn't have a size. Can I do like type of testeroni? Is that a thing I can do? No. I don't know. I don't know how to see what this thing is and how to get its size without this thing complaining at me. It's some subtype that has a size. Can we just add a viewport by any chance? It's an abstract base class. Okay, so then what inherits from this? Because documentation. Because if it's always sub viewport, then we can just cast to that. Inherited by sub viewport and window. Yeah, so what does get viewport return? It's one of these two things. Window has a size, and sub viewport also has a size. I guess I just don't really care what this thing is. Yeah, it's something that's going to have a size, and that's all I care about. All right, whatever. Let's do this the proper way. So we get a viewport, and then we say if viewport is sub viewport. This is stupid. This is really stupid. Can I just ignore this error? I think it's going to be easier to just do that. I don't know how you do that, though. Unsafe property access. Yeah. Lint. Warnings. Ignore. How do you ignore errors? GD script, ignore error online. Ah, here it is. All right, and this is going to be what? Unsafe property access? Unsafe property access. I don't want it to complain because it's like what I'm doing here is going to be fine. And if it's ever not fine, it's going to be very obvious that it's not fine. It's still doing this. Copy error. Is it capitalized? Is that the problem here? No, I don't know how to do this. GD script, ignore unsafe property. Oh, you don't put it in a comment? Oh, it's an actual proper annotation. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you, Gringo. Do you use GD native or GD script? It's GD script. What is GD native? Are you talking about C++? Oh, hooray. Okay, we fixed that. Why is this? This is like stuck on my mouse now. So it's not getting mouse up. Mouse event dot pressed. I see. This needs to be tabbed out. There we go. Problem solved. All right. So we have panning working. Zooming is hot garbage. I don't know why though. Initial zoom equals zoom. Zoom factor. New camera position. Times viewport size time plus mouse position. Excuse me. Well, it's working in my other game. It's just, I think this is something we just ignore for now. It's zooming on kind of random positions, and there's probably a way we could fix this. So maybe we just stop zooming for now. Yeah. Yeah, let's just cut out the zoom stuff. So much for my whole warning ignore. All right, well, we'll still write this over here. Warnings. If you ever want to ignore a particular warning just for a single line, annotate the line like this. What is going on? There. No comment character needed. All right. Okay, so allow for panning. Fix right-clicking to move so that it's in world coordinates. Yeah, so now I'm pretty sure we're going to get this to be messed up. Zoom is somehow still in. Did I not delete that? Oh, I think I started to and then just didn't. So get rid of that stuff. We now no longer need the mouse position. This is just for that. All right, is there anything going on here with zoom still? There is. But that's probably actually fine. Yeah, that's probably fine. All right, so yeah, no more zooming anymore. And now when you right click, oh, it actually still works. Huh. Well, I guess because the world is always considered 0, 0, it's centered on the camera. All right, well, whatever. That's working, so fine. All right, then maybe have the camera follow your character. I don't even know. I don't think that's necessary. I'm just gonna skip that. Update, not doing this until it actually matters. Is a prototype. Yeah. So this task can be considered done. And now the last thing we're gonna do before probably taking a break is to check this in. So what did we just add? We added the world map. We added a way for you to have your character. You can right click and move your character. If we were to not bypass the title screen, you could actually select a different character. Oh, that looks like garbage now. This doesn't work at all. Okay, well, this is a problem of using the scale factor that we have. So let's just zoom in on the camera, I guess. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, we'll just set the scale back to 1. And then over in the world maps camera, we'll set the zoom factor to 2. There. So now the title screen looks fine. You can pick a different character. And now you're panning by more. Now we need to consider the zoom when we're panning. What a shame. So this is times zoom of the camera. I wonder if I need to do divided by at this point. I think so. Oh, maybe that's what went wrong with all of this, is that zoom is now the opposite direction. Yeah, maybe that is what happened. Yeah, I think this feels fine now. Can we zoom in even further? Like, what if I just set this to 10? Is it like super zoomed in? It should be. Yes. We. All right. And then should I make the center of the character go to where you right click? Because now it's more obvious when you're zoomed in. I guess that's another thing that doesn't matter. This is a prototype. All right, I think I want to set the main zoom to something that I can actually see what's going on. So I'm going to set it to like 3. Eventually, this will be just controllable by the player. But until then, it's got to be something that I don't have a hard time like managing the game when I'm playing it. So yeah, this looks fine. All right, I'm not gonna look at those. This is fine. Reset our velocity back to nothing. I don't think we need to write that there's a comment for that. Unrecognized character class, sounds good. Normally I'd split this into different commits. I do not care. I'm just making sure that the code looks good and I didn't leave anything in that I shouldn't have left in. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness going on with some of this stuff. This is not completed. Yeah, convert to world coordinates is not something we're doing. Target position we don't need. This we don't need. Cool. And then the world map has literally no reason to exist. Can we delete a script from here? Does this work? Discard. Is that going to like mess up everything? I think so, because now this won't have a script. I want to detach script and then save. And now I think we can run. Yeah. All right, now let's set it to skip the title screen again. And that way it just goes right in the game. In fact, maybe we should have it pick a random class. Although I get ahead of myself again. All right, so add world map. We also instantiate your selected character. I guess not also, just instantiate your selected character. Allow for skipping the title screen. Allow for panning around the map. Allow right-clicking to move your character. Done. So, there. Oh, we still have more of these I want to close. Okay, so next up is spawn enemies. Spawn enemies, make 2 regions on the map. First region will spawn bats and slimes. Second region will spawn rats and snakes. Enemies will move around randomly within the regions. Okay, this should be pretty straightforward, but I think we're not gonna have any more time this morning to do this. So yeah, I think now it's gonna be a break for whatever, like 5 minutes. And then when I get back, it's gonna be mentoring Remy for an hour. Then probably lunch break. And then the afternoon is just pure prototyping. So we should be able to make some good progress here. I'm hoping that by the end of today, like I said, we have, I mean, we already have what we have now. So hopefully we don't regress. But we have the world map and we have enemies spawning. Whoopsie doodle. We have enemies spawning in both of these regions and they move around. And then the next part is getting them to battle each other. So that'd be this. And then probably adding in abilities and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with all this. I think it's been good progress. All right, I'm going to take my break. Again, for those who are on YouTube, you can't play this game we're about to play through YouTube. You have to actually go to Twitch chat for that. Is it jump time? Is it not going to... Break. It's jump time. again, everybody. Close the game. So let's start transitioning into mentoring. I have the session in 12 minutes. So prepping for mentoring and delete Godot and Godot engine, done. And then change this to edit. Prepping for mentoring. Yeah. All right, now let's leave these tabs open because I need to be able to update the title again. So next is mentoring prep. So I'm 1 minute late. You'd be bothering me, not MPV. All right, we're gonna start by reading the mentoring document with Remy. I like to see what I had done last time. So I just want to compile some notes. All right, let's look at session 2. So for those who are just tuning in maybe or haven't seen this before, so Remy is an engineer and we've done 2 sessions so far. And the kinds of things that we've been focusing on are, this document isn't public, but it's generally career stuff and just, I don't know, kind of figuring out anything that the mentee might want. So maybe we're talking about like, hey, how do you get into consistent exercise or something? And like, that could be something we talk about. So I guess it's like career mentoring and coaching. I'm going to go through session 2 and just pull all of the details that I want to talk about this time because I haven't read this since last time. So yeah, let's see. All right, felt he didn't have enough time for trainings, asked his colleagues, talked quite a bit, taken an entire week off. I remember we came up with, I suggested, why don't we return to this or in Q2 or something? Let's see what we did. Talk to other people. Yeah, so everyone's struggling trying to find time to do trainings. You got an extra week. Would you take to do the course? Cut down on the commitment, maybe to 30%. Done a 2-day course. If this works for you, we can aim to, yeah. So sign up in Q2. Okay, so yeah, did you sign up for a course in Q2? I want to see if a small commitment to training is working. All right, colleague is going on a week of training. Also mentioned not doing as often as he wants to. Losing 2 higher end colleagues. Increased workload. Lost contractors, too much work. Pressure's increasing. It's not so much a burnout. Yeah. How has it been with fewer coworkers? Are you feeling even more pressure? Are you burning out? Opportunity here for growth. Team is really small, yeah. Yeah, let me edit the today command really fast. Today, Adam is prepping for mentoring Remy. See mentoring. Okay, SR notes. Yeah, how has SR notes gone? So SR notes is the speedrunning notes application that Remy made, and I'm curious kind of what's happened with it. He did release it. Mix of things made me feel vulnerable. That expansion of the 10% may be the real problem. Said it may be a bit of an issue, that the 10% is more of an issue than he thinks. How it's received. Yeah. Have people been using it? Have you gotten feedback? Have you done more work for it? Do you plan to? Doing fine. Mix up how. Yeah. All right. Do you have any other projects? CodeJam project wants to expand that. Yeah. So how is the climbing program coming? Or climbing app coming? It's open. Yeah. Have you talked to your connections about getting help? Nice, nice, nice. All right, body doubling. Yeah, I want to find out how this has gone. How has this gone? I've done a couple of sessions myself on Discord. Wanted to talk about my experience. All right, deadline, never good enough. Oh yeah, what are you doing an A-star challenge yourself. This is actually probably not relevant to mentoring. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I'll talk about it briefly, I guess. All right, we got about 5 minutes before I should really kind of kick my butt into gear and start this thing. So let's see if I'm getting through this. Sounds good. Didn't talk to manager. Work schedules haven't lined up. Previous manager, asked if the position looks the same. All right, yeah. All right, yeah, I want to find out about kind of career direction since finding out that you wouldn't have to do as much contract management as you originally feared. Growing others. Oh yeah, are you still mentoring that person through the stream? Yeah, and do you, if so, do you feel better about the more recent session? All right, new topics. Creating design documents, sticking to an MVP. Try to do it for the game jam. What to put in such a document so I can keep myself to an MVP. Talk to people to find out about this. Use Jim as an early adopter. Yeah, so have you talked to your connections about getting help? Have you talked to potential customers about what they'd want? Are you feeling better than you were in December/January? Less exercise, doubted professional skills, didn't celebrate successes. Oh yeah, how was the cupcake? How was the celebratory cupcake? I I'm probably going to do a video at some point about here are the things I've learned having several mentees. And one thing that I'm really pushing for everyone to do is celebrate your successes. And I mentioned this to Remy and I'm like, you could do anything. You can get a cupcake and put a candle in it. And then he's like, I like that idea. I'm going to buy a cupcake. So then he did. And I believe there was a ludicrous amount of frosting on it. And I want to know, was it good? Did it feel like a celebration? Did it feel like a celebration? Yeah. Okay. And what were my questions last time? Body doubling with coworkers. Are there any other projects? Talk to your manager about the role. How does your own mentoring go? Did you set aside time for training? Yeah. So I think these are all the things that I want to talk about today. Whipped cream. Okay. Yeah. Thought it was frosting. Shows how much I pay attention to Remy. I should have removed the new lines originally, but whatever. All right, so I got my questions. Now let's go through the rest of the prep stuff. So let's switch some scenes. It's just content to me. I don't care about cupcake toppings. The ideal cupcake topping involves sprinkles, by the way. I haven't seen sprinkles on there. All right, so go to studio mode. And now what am I clicking? Mentoring? There we go. Okay, good. Open Yada. Also good. All right, I'm gonna get all this set up. This takes some time because it's partially how OBS works. I need to reset up my scene every time I go into it because I've rebooted my computer. Okay, so OBS, left half of left monitor. Add mentoring Remy is right here. We have this taking up the right size, right? Yep. Just need to point to that. Chrome, add mentoring Remy. Where art thou? There you are. Show cursor, I guess. Sure. Okay, cool. And then what else? Discord on left, video on right. Read the document. I did that. ABS. Everything's gonna have ab in the beginning of the name. My cat, my bot, my OBS clone. All right, Yada refreshing. All right, so just change my title and change my what's it called? My today command. Okay, name is Remy. Number is 3. Today, Wednesday, head of his mentoring Remy. This is their 3rd session together. They might be reading chat during the session. Yep, sounds good. All right, so let's go just change the title, and then we're pretty much good to go, right on time. There's that title, and there is that title. Nice. All right, let's kick this thing off. I'm gonna go call Remy, and we will switch over to the scene. Let me go figure out where Remy is. There he is. All right, start video call, pop out. Hey, Remy, can you hear me? I can hear you. Chat, can you hear Remy okay? You said no. Remy, can you say some things about how good the cupcake was?
Oh, the cupcake was delicious. It was like vanilla cupcake, but with like chocolate chip cookies thingies in it, and tons of whipped cream. Like magnifique.
Chocolate chip cookies in it.
Yeah, well, not like the chocolate chip. No, wait, what do you chocolate chips? I guess I don't know, like the little chunk of chocolate. What do you call it actually?
Well, that sounds wonderful. I am just modifying the screen a little bit so that we can actually see everything. I'm sorry, just give me a sec. I
Oh, good.
think this should be good. All right, yeah. Has your layout
Maybe
changed slightly? It
mirror.
has, right? You were in like a dark dungeon before this, and
I actually noticed that last time. No, it's actually just because it's lighter outside now. You'll probably get Dark Dungeon again soon. Like I
okay.
can try switching over the lights overhead, but I think it's going to be too bright. If you want me to try it, I can do it.
Oh no. It's fine. It's fine. I was just curious because I it doesn't matter actually.
No, I
Oh,
was really annoyed by how dark it was last. It's like yeah,
yeah.
like your stereotypical like basement dweller where like he's only lit by his screens, and I was like, this looks
And
terrible.
I
What
thought
am I
there was
doing?
someone behind you because I was seeing, I guess, the reflection of your monitor in the window, and I'm like, I didn't know Remy had a roommate or a significant other living with him. Yeah,
I mean, maybe there's ghosts here. I don't
yeah,
know,
maybe
but
there
there
are
shouldn't
ghosts.
be anyone
Well,
else in here.
welcome to session number 3. So you've done a couple of these with me now. You've seen other mentees do this stuff. I typically like to let you start this sort of thing. So, what do you want to talk about? What should we start with?
Yeah, let's continue, I guess, where we left off. Some new things. I put some notes in the OneNote or the doc as well. I started learning Spanish. I was bored. I was like, need to do something to replace my doom scrolling, basically. So it also ties into the video you made. I found myself that, every time I install some kind of app and I end up spending my time scrolling through some app or playing a small game on my phone, whatever, and I'm really trying to consciously cut down on time spent on my phone because I feel like it's either not useful time spent, but like of course being entertained and not being bored can be considered useful. But I feel like even in that regard, it's just really low value entertainment, so to call it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what can I do with this time? And it's like it's fine if it's on my phone, but I want to feel that I either get something out of it or like it is high quality entertainment, so to say. Maybe I find a really fun game and I would think that's high quality entertainment, it'd be fine. So I got some friends in Spain. I was like, I'm just gonna learn Spanish. So that's been my doom crawling replacement. That's been working quite well so far. One of the things, like I said, was Reddit. I was just, endlessly scrolling on Reddit. But like last week, I opened Reddit and I found out that if I click like on an image, like I usually only just watch funny images, like cats, whatever videos, whatever is on there. And I noticed that like every time I clicked on that, it would open a new tab, and I was so annoyed by it because like it wouldn't open in line, and that really helped me just cut out Reddit completely because I was so annoyed. I'm like, okay, I'm never opening this site again. And I didn't even like go back to check if this was like a one-time bug or something that prevented me from like inline viewing images and videos. And I don't even want to know if it's like a one-time thing because it's worked wonders for me not going back to Reddit on my mobile phone.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I think this is great. I think it's good to have sort of positive replacement behaviors. At least that's how I was describing it in the video that I'd made. I do think, just to set expectations, when you start something like this, of course you're super motivated. You're like, cool, I cut out doom scrolling. At some point, yeah, you'll probably hit the point where you're like, I'm bored, or Spanish is hard, or something, and it's okay. I think you've at least generated some mindfulness around this now, so I think that's
Yeah.
good. Out of curiosity, just from where you stand now, how far do you want to go with Spanish?
I mean, if I can, I want to be like, fluent in it. Uh, like I got quite a bit of an addictive personality, I'd say. Like I see this with games, with even eating. Like anything I do, I pick it up. I always go for the 100%. Like if I start like a new project or something, I was like, oh, like shoot for the stars and aim for the moon or whatever it's called. And it's the same with learning Spanish. I'm like, get fluent or don't go at all.
The reason I'm laughing is because I would consider fluency to be like a good 100% target, but really 100% would be like, every word in every language that you learned, which would be
Yeah, no, it's
ridiculous.
any percent speed run.
Yeah, any percent speed run to Spanish. So I think that's good. I think it's really good. I think it's good you have a goal. Also, knowing that you have friends, they could always help you out with it. And there are lots of apps you can use to learn nowadays. I know several people are learning Spanish, and they're the ones that actually put you in contact with a native speaker, I think, are the best. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about this because it's not like I know Spanish or have learned a language fluently.
You haven't?
So I think this is good. Well, other than English, I think this is good. I want to follow up with this. I want to follow up on this next time. So I'm just going to write something here. Follow up on this next time. Are you still doom scrolling at all? But yeah, kudos to you. I think this is great. Good use of your free time.
Yeah, and I'm using Duolingo so I can like see your daily streak. I'm like 48 days now, so far it's going good. And like you said, it really helps that I got friends. So I'm like, I don't understand what am I doing wrong, or like I'll put out some silly message that like I don't know, me hablas, or I just put something stupid out to them and they love, and I'm like, okay, yes, and they like correct what I did wrong. So that really helps indeed to stay motivated as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely great. I think the last time I was trying to learn something like this was when I was learning French, and I found an app that let me type to people who were native French speakers and they could type in English to me. And you had a way of actually like editing their answer so they could see a diff of what they did wrong.
Oh,
And I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, making
that's
mistakes
fun.
is
Yeah.
definitely how you learn that stuff.
Yeah, so I actually put this in like 10 minutes before starting the session because I was like, oh yeah, I've been doing this, and I was like, oh yeah, you made a video on this, so maybe it's funny to put it in. But actually, yeah, it's fun. It's nice. It's been nice. More towards like my career
Yeah.
focus thing that we talked about in previous sessions. I actually had a talk with my manager yesterday to do my expectation settings for this year.
Hmm.
So at the start of every year, we do expectation settings, which is mostly like what work do we expect you to do, like do we expect you to focus on. But there's also like I said, like 25% of this expectation settings is focused on where do you want to go.
Yeah.
So it's not solely like the company expects this and wants you to do this. It's also like what do you want to do for growth. Uh, so we first talked about the work. There's still too much work for us to handle, so we're gonna have to figure that out some way. That's the gist of the work load we have. There's also a new person that now decides what our priorities are. Uh, I got some opinions about some of those things, but they are not in my position to, change these directions. So I just accept that these are the tasks that I have to do, and I'll start working on them, which is fine. So then at the end of it, I brought it up to my manager, like, hey, in my year-end review, you brought up, maybe you want to expand your horizon. Like in 5 years' time, I will probably be leaving the company to go into retirement, and someone needs to fill the spot. And back then I said like, basically, yeah, I don't think I'm too interested in it because you do a lot of contract management and stuff like that. But as I discussed with you, I have been thinking about it and like what would I want out of such a position. So I came back to him and said like, I've been thinking over what you said, and I want to discuss this. And he was really open to that. And he said like, he thinks I'm a good suit for the position because I'm quite a social guy. I like interacting with people. I like helping people or tackling problems with people together. Uh, so he said like, yeah, you do seem to be someone that would also like this position, and that he thinks I am capable of doing it, which to me is quite yeah, it feels nice. If like my current manager is someone I look up to quite a lot, if he says that he thinks I can do it, that's a huge compliment, I think. Uh, I saw you put a question mark for the replacement training, and I'll get to that right now.
You don't need to. You don't need to respond to these things in real time. I just know that I
No,
don't. Yeah.
I know. I just happened to say see it, and I was gonna bring it up second.
Okay.
So what I mean with that, so I brought it up, like in 5 years' time when you're leaving, I'm not like hunting for your spot, so to say, but it is something I would like to grow into. And he said you should be doing it because you want this function wherever you are. So what he meant with that is like not at the current company, like maybe in 3 years' time you will get invited for this position from another company, or an opening opens up with a different company for this position. You should also have the drive to go for that position then, and not just like as a replacement for me, because he said we don't really do like he's not going to coach me into replacing him, so to say. Like the next 5 years will be him coaching me so that when he leaves I can take over fluently. Like he made it very clear, like we're not doing that in this company, because we just don't know if you're actually going to commit to it, or maybe the entire landscape within the company changes within the next 2 years, like if a new board comes in or whatever. So that's what I kind of meant with like replacement training, where he like one-on-one trains me to become his replacement.
Okay, wait.
So
So
there's none of
let me ask you a couple things about this. One, is your manager saying that for the entirety of the 5 years? So my understanding is 5 years from now, your manager will retire, and right now you're not going to do this replacement training. But 6 months before your manager retires, the company landscape probably isn't going to be changing over the course of just 6 months, and you're probably not going to be able to, or you would know enough about whether you're going to change your mind. Could you get more training then if you felt like you didn't have it?
We didn't specifically talk that through, but I am sure, well, quite confident. I'm not sure, but I'm quite confident that if he would be like 6 months from him leaving,
Mm-hmm.
and I am still in a position where I want to take over, and he's still in a position where he trusts me, I can do it, then I am fairly certain that at that point he would do this, like handover training for like the last
Okay.
six
Yeah.
months, year, however long we decide per team.
Okay, and then you mentioned the whole you should be doing this because you want this at any company. What does that change for you hearing that?
Uh, I think I would also want to do that in another company, yeah. So maybe if like, in 3 years time, I see some other company is like, searching for the position that I want to be in, which is basically, leading a small ICT team, but also being part of the production team itself. If I would see such an opening, I would probably consider doing that. Yeah. So
So originally, I think even in our first session, you'd said something like, "I want to stay at one company pretty much my entire life," and I'm not
yeah,
necessarily trying to steer you toward that. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is your manager had said, I think you should be aiming for this position as though it were at another company. And I think what your manager was getting at is like, then you need to grow your skills so that another company could just, pluck you out of the candidates and plop you into the job. If that's what they were saying, I think that's fine. I think you are already growing some of these skills, and we can talk about how you can grow more that you might need. And the timeline is so long, 5 years, that
yeah,
I
definitely.
think you'll have plenty of opportunities. So do I at least have the right gauge on that? That he's pretty much focusing on the whole like, I'm not going to start training you now. That's the main
Yeah.
takeaway. Okay.
Yeah, but that would be like him personal training, because the other thing he mentioned, which is like a little bit farther on in the list, is that he was really open at like, if you want to do this, we can find whatever training you need to get you familiar with managing skills. But like that's
Oh,
not like him slowly rolling me into his position.
yeah,
That's like, sending me on outside trainings where I learn managing skills, I think communication skills, whatever's possible. So this was just focused like on internal training with him.
yeah,
He was really open to be like, if you want to do this, we can look at what trainings you need or what trainings they are. Like, even internally, we have trainings for these kind of transitions. And he was really hyped. Hyped might be a big word, but he was really interested in, letting me know that there are these opportunities and trainings I can follow if I want to do this.
yeah. Okay. This is really good. I think I'm very happy to hear all of this because originally you were thinking, hey, I'm worried about the contract management part of the job. Then you talk to your manager and you talk to some other people and they said, look, that's not what the role used to be. That's just what your manager likes to do or can do or, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's what your manager's doing right now. And so that was a relief for me to hear this because I thought, okay, cool. Remy won't have to grow into a way he doesn't want to. And now your manager is saying, look, I can't personally train you, or at least that's not reasonable right now, but I'm willing to give you basically any resource you need to go do what you need
Yeah.
to do. So I think there are two parts of this. I think one is identifying what you need. And then the second is going and carving out the time for that. And this is where I wrote a star next to this. you are going to have to get better at taking these trainings every quarter and like
Yeah.
carving out the time. That's just a thing. You do this yearly planning. You're going to have to say, you know what, we're going to reserve 5 or 10% or something, some amount of time for me to go do this stuff. And I guess if you think about it in terms of like any given month has 20 work days. So in a quarter, you have like 60. So if you were to take 10%, you'd be taking 6 days. So I don't know, 5% sounds reasonable, right? Take like 3 days and go do a training. And so I want to focus on this for the future for sure, but I want to talk now about what you might need. We're talking about a 5-year plan to getting you to be comfortable taking your manager's job. Toward the end, you might have some dedicated training from that manager. Can you identify any gaps that you have right now where you wouldn't be comfortable if you were to take the job today?
Yeah, that would probably be like negotiations.
Yeah.
Like there will of course, there's no way I won't be doing any kind of contract management because for my team software, of course, I would need to do it. And I'm really bad at like, sitting across from someone and they're like, okay, it's gonna cost X amount of money, and I gotta be like, no, we only want to pay N amount of money. And like those kinds of negotiations, or even like, if you want to hire someone, doing those kinds of talks, there will be moments where you're like, okay, yeah, you're just not the right candidate, and you have to tell someone you're not gonna be it. I'm really bad at like delivering bad news to people. So those are certainly gaps I can identify for myself right now. I would need to train on.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a lot of not knowing what you don't know here. Like I have no idea what it means to be a manager of a small team. I've never done it. There's probably tons of things my manager does that I don't even realize or I don't see. So there's a lot of like unknown unknowns there.
Okay. Um, Here's what I think. The negotiation, the interviews, the giving bad news, there are ways you can probably accomplish some of this, but for finding the unknown unknowns, I think there are usually general management trainings, and those will uncover some of those gaps. There's no way to ever, I mean, this is the nature of the problem of having unknown unknowns. You can never know if you've uncovered all of them,
Yeah,
but then you eventually get the job, and that's where you find out what the remaining ones
you
were.
will run into them.
Yeah. So, I want you to start prioritizing what kind of trainings you want to do. We talked about some of the C++ stuff last time, and I don't know how long that project will last, but so there's technical things, but then there's the management stuff. And at the very least, I see it as almost a necessity that over the next few years, you should be taking some number of days per quarter and doing some kind of training. You've clearly identified this as a need. It's something the overall team struggles with, and it's something you can benefit from. And I don't know what kind of courses there are. This is the kind of thing you need to come back and say like, okay, look, there are these 10 courses, or maybe you figure it out yourself. But then you will almost certainly learn something there. and yeah, so I want you to do that. The other thing is, can you sit in on interviews? Do you do this now? Do you see how this process goes?
No, I don't do this now.
Okay. Can you?
I've never asked, so I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know if they would be okay with that or not.
Okay. Because um, at Google, at Amazon, I know they do interview shadowing where you can join somebody else. And so let's say you're a candidate applying for that company. Someone might say, hey, I'm Adam. I'm here to conduct your interview. And this is, George. They're just going to be watching and they're learning the process themselves. And usually that's totally fine from a candidate's point of view. They just think, okay, this person I can just ignore. They're not going to be talking or something. And I think that's pretty normal. So I think if you were to ask, could I sit in on interviews and see how they go? Or could I sit in on, probably not the negotiation process, I would guess, but maybe you could just ask about it. Those are the kinds of things I would start to do so that these things that are gaps aren't as big when it comes to taking the job. Does that sound something like something you're comfortable doing?
I'm not sure if I would be right now at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
But maybe in the future, yeah.
yeah.
Like if I am more serious about it and I have more of a solid sort of solidified idea of what it like entails, and I think I need to be further in the process before I would want to do this. But like once I am at that point, I would definitely be comfortable doing it.
Okay. I think that sounds totally reasonable. The thing I would still push for, and when I say now, I would say in the next, quarter or two, is the training stuff. I think because even if you don't do management training, we might be far enough ahead of time where that's not important, but you have mentioned there are other trainings you want to do. So I would still urge you to do that. So prioritize Technical versus management. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, this is good. Look, it's always good to have your manager in your corner, and your manager gave you some pretty encouraging words, like you're a good fit for
Yeah,
this.
I think
Yeah,
he's definitely in my corner on this.
yeah, and he,
And
it's not even just hey, I support your decision. It's like I think you're good for this. I think you
yeah,
are a good fit. So I think it's nice that your manager said that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
also my senior who's like previously in his position, like I've also been talking with him, and he's also like, yeah, I think he also thinks I'm a good fit for it. And like when he did it, like what put him off was that he just didn't like the people management side of it. He's like a really technical guy, and that's fine, obviously. That's what he told me. Like he like just said like I didn't like the people management skills, and he's like, you probably are a better suit for that. So it's like probably if like in 5 years time my manager leaves, he will probably also not be someone to like step up to the plate himself to take over if there's a different person to fill the role, so to say.
yeah,
And but he will still be in the company, so he would probably be someone I could rely on for help as well because he's been in a position and has the knowledge and the experience doing it.
yeah.
So like there would be a safety net, so to say, for me if I could do this in 5 years. Some big assumptions being made there, of course.
Yeah, but I think this is something you can work toward. And I have a feeling that if you keep giving this signal to your manager saying, I'm interested in this, I'm working toward this, look, I'm taking these courses, I'm filling in these gaps that I have, I think your manager will know that if I do want to go a different route, I should tell Remy about it because otherwise I'll, break his expectations. The other thing is that I think it's good that you talk to your coworker about this. It's always good to know why people want or don't want something else. And in this case, it was purely subjective, right? They don't like people management. I don't think you'll have that problem from everything you said. I know you haven't, directly managed people, but all of the stuff that you do and what you work toward seems to point toward you liking that kind of development. So I don't see there being a fit problem there. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of kind of getting the experience doing it. So
Yeah.
good job talking to your manager about this. I think it's, yeah,
Thanks.
I think it's looking up.
Yeah, and I also discussed with him, the like the kind of roles he fills in the position. So like the contract manager, like I told him again, like I don't get happy from doing lots of contract management. There's a mandatory amount that comes with the role, that's fine, but I don't want to, take on extra than necessary in that role. And he also told me like, there's ways you can shape that yourself. So he definitely like he made it very clear that the role is open to interpretation of the person filling the role. So I asked him like, you do a lot of management for some other departments as well. And he's like, yeah, like that shouldn't be my responsibility, but because he used to be like the general ICT manager as well before stepping down to this role. So he said like that's also just a bit of legacy work that I have from
Yeah.
my previous role that I've just decided to keep for myself. And that's also why it's like because he also asked, would you like to go like the next level even after this small team management to be like entire ICT management? Because he's like, then you probably can't be hands-on code anymore. And I just told him like, at this point, I do not see myself going that far, just because I would like lose the being part of the team myself.
I see. Yeah. And these are all stepping stones. So, like you just mentioned there, right now you might not feel that way, but in the future you might say, you know what, I like managing a small team, but I want my impact to be bigger. Okay, bigger team. And it might feel like a sensible decision at the time. I do find that as people stick with coding for, 5 plus, 10 plus years, that their relationship with it does end up changing. And I think a lot of it too is like you'll have solved the problems you want to solve. And then at some point you're just like, oh, now there's a lot of boilerplate doing it. I don't find it as exciting. And so who knows, maybe it transitions. And some people don't feel that way. Some people just want to do that their entire career. So yeah, I'm excited for you. I think this is good. It's too bad this is playing out on a 5 year time scale. If only you could, fast forward all of that super fast and I could find out the conclusion to this story now, but this is
No spoilers, Adam. You'll just have to keep streaming for 5 years and do these mentoring sessions for 5 years. And you have 5 years of content out of me. Isn't that great?
yes. We could talk about cupcakes every month.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
trainings. I know I was kind of really mentioning the significance of them, but it sounds like you have actually talked about them. So yeah, why don't you tell me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is something I also brought up in the expectation settings. Where I'm like, we have talked about this before. How the team just lacks trainings. We're gonna like, we're moving basically our infrastructure to the cloud and Azure, DevOps, but no one in our teams has any experience with it. So I talked with my manager, and they've actually went a step further, and they made uh, Azure trainings mandatory for the entire team for this year. So there's like, what is it like, Azure Fundamentals, Azure Development, and Azure DevOps, I think, like the training, the starting courses for those. We have to do these three this year. Like otherwise we just get a negative year-end review, basically. And on top of that, we got this internal uh, what is it, human development program, so to speak, which I did like the first course of last year, and it's also become mandatory on this year's expectation settings that I do the follow-up training this year, which is more focused towards taking on a leadership role, working on soft skills or other blind spots that I might have identified with myself or others have identified with me.
Mm-hmm.
So there is definitely going to be time in this year that I just have to spend on trainings. Like if I don't, my year-end review would just be poorly, which isn't a good thing.
Yeah. So did they said the trainings are mandatory, but they're not telling you what time you have to take it. They're not doing groups or anything.
No.
Okay, that's a little bit strange. There are no set times or groups because part of what I think can be good about trainings is there's obviously the training part, but then there's the team bonding, morale part, where if 5 of you go to the same training, you get lunch together. Maybe you're not eating with these people all the time, or you are talking about the course together, or something like that, or I don't know. And it doesn't sound like that's happening. So if there are no set times, what is your plan to take these 3 trainings?
Good question. I don't know. But the first thing that popped into my head was like probably at the end of the year because I'll keep postponing it. But
Well,
that no, I will have to see like when I can do this and just go for it. One of my team members, my senior, actually did the first training of these 3 last week. So he just said, I'm gonna take this entire week off and you know screw everything and everyone that needs my help for this week, and I'll speak to you next week. And he just vanished for a week, and he really enjoyed it. He came back really positive out of this. He's like, I learned a ton. I really enjoyed it. We should do this more often, and make it more mandatory. So he was really, really positive about the experience.
interesting. This is where I always find that if you have a problem at your job, very rarely are you the only person who has that problem at your job. And so you said, I want to do trainings. I don't see other people really doing these trainings. It sounds like everyone wants to do them. It sounds like people want to grow in their careers and in their technical skills. And this senior person went and did it. Out of curiosity, are they the same person? You'd mentioned something in, I think, session number 2, where you said people wanted to take more time, but they also found it hard to do it.
Same person.
Yeah. Okay, well, good. I think, look, there's sometimes you just jump in and that's how you prove to yourself that you can do something. So are you working specifically with any Azure stuff or DevOps stuff in the next, let's say, 6 months?
Most likely.
Okay, yeah. And so I don't want to, beat you over the head with this, but you're saying I would probably have naturally put off the trainings till the end of the year, but the end of the year is longer than 6 months from now. So, I mean, you can see the problem that's forming here, right? Like the trainings would probably help you do your job. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I definitely want to say that like prioritize doing at least one of these trainings.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, for sure. Probably like was it like AZ 102 or something? It's like Azure Fundamentals. That's definitely one I should follow because something I mentioned last session is that we lost 2 contractors
yeah.
as part of our team, and one of those contractors was working on like a web app that we needed that uses Key Vault, Azure, all that kind of things in the backend. I think it uses Microsoft Blazor, I think. So all these technologies I'm not familiar with, and that's like really tied into Azure. But his handover of that software was to me. So it's not entirely finished yet. I have to finish it at some point this year. So yeah, I'll just have to do it before I can get going on that.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. You definitely need to carve out the time then for this training. Do you know anything about Azure to begin with?
Like no,
Okay.
basically not.
That's fine.
I've used Azure DevOps for the like Git repository thingy from Azure, but that's about it.
Okay. I don't think that's necessary. I think, There are segments of computing that I think are their own little worlds that you have to learn about. So databases, networking, graphics, and cloud is a newer one of those things. And there are quite a lot of terms and concepts, and they're all so interrelated that the sooner you start learning, the better. I remember the first time I opened Fruity Loop Studio, the music program I use, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with any of this. I could like drop down notes and that was it. But what happened is every time I open it up, I'd learn just a tiny bit more. And so there are lots of ways to mess up when you're doing things in the cloud, and they can have very big repercussions in terms of cost and security. So yeah, I definitely think the fundamentals will be good. What are the other two trainings that you mentioned?
I think there, so you got fundamentals. I think you got for developers or something, and I think there is DevOps. Is there? Yeah, let's see. I think AC 400 is like designing and implementing Microsoft DevOps.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it's like all these codes, and like I think Azure Developer Associate or something like that.
Okay. I think those are good things to learn. And I think that once you have that foundation, learning anything new based on it shouldn't be as bad. How do you feel about learning this stuff? Are you excited? Are you like, this is a chore? Or is it just scheduling the training that's a chore?
It's a mixed bag of emotions. I think. Like I genuinely enjoy learning new things. You know, for example, Spanish. I really like the technologies and stuff like that. But there's also a bit of anxiousness there because having more uh, a bigger tech stack, naturally also means you're going to get more work over a diverser range of tech stack, so there's more things to upkeep, which is going to spread me thinner and thinner and thinner. And we already got so much work, and it's just going to be more work probably coming not just my way, but our entire team's way once we are, now also the Azure guys on top of being the guys who already are, so to speak.
Yeah, you mentioned, I think, unless I'm misunderstanding, that you hired someone new on the team.
No, yeah. So we had two contractors. These have been let go because of cost savings, but my manager has now been fighting to get a new full hire, and they are now actually in the progress of getting this plus one FTE employee.
Okay. Oh man, I have an opinion
But
about
this
this.
this 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 position, I should say, is not a development position. This is just general software maintenance. So this would take like the general software maintenance from my workload and some workload of my colleagues in lesser extent,
Yeah.
so that I get more, especially me and one of my other colleagues, get more time to focus on development.
Okay. I think that's a good decision. I think looking back, two people were let go for cost reasons, and then one full-time person was hired for work reasons. And this is the
Yeah.
tension that constantly happens, right? Try to save costs, realize you made a mistake, try to fix the mistake, then you have a different problem, and you keep kind of going up and down along this cycle. Maybe this is not even worth asking, but do you know what level of management made this decision? Like, are they regretting it? Do they seem like, I don't know, what brought this about?
No, it's a top level management that decided this. Yeah. Like
Okay.
we just needed to cut costs at some point, and the first thing that goes when you need to cut costs is contractors. So they were like the first layer to just go, and then my manager really fought for like but we are already drowning in the work we have, so this is just gonna bite us in the ass. And eventually he managed to get the funding for a full-time employee then.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, as long as it's not necessarily, I guess, the same person, imagine saying, hey, I'm firing two people, and then next month saying, well, that was a mistake. I'm going to go fix it by doing this. And it's like, well, maybe we should have had more planning or involving other people. Okay.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't think it was that. It was like the general company-wide policy was like cut down on contractors,
Yeah.
uh, and then my manager was like, yeah, we just can't stay afloat like this. We need to fix this ASAP.
Okay. Yeah.
With
Well,
quite some pushing from me as well to like I mentioned, like you know, just me alone got like work with three people going on right now. I'm sure my colleagues have the same thing.
yeah.
Like we need to fix this. I brought it up probably every week. Like we can't go on like this. And he really takes that to heart and makes work out of it. So that's great.
I, I, I like the direction it's going in, but you've now mentioned the workload multiple times over multiple sessions. with this new general maintenance person joining, it'll shift your focus, but it might not actually lessen your workload to the point where you don't feel like you're drowning. What happens if, 3 months from now, you're still like, there's too much work, the whole team has too much work? Does your manager then fight for funding for another full-time employee?
I think that will be hard. He will probably just say like, okay, then we just drop this project instead.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my manager does thankfully care for our health as well. So like if we really can't keep up anymore, then he will make like just the manager decision of, okay, we're gonna drop this, so you guys don't burn out.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I think I mentioned this last time, but you either cut down on the work or you get more people, but you don't expect the people who are there to do more work and just, scale infinitely. It doesn't work that way. So, all right,
Yeah.
that's fine. And I think this is a reasonable conclusion, but it still requires that you feel good about it afterward. I mean, if you still like projects were dropped and you're still like there's still too much work, then there could be a problem. But we'll talk about that if that ends up happening. Yeah. So how do you feel about this stuff? Should we move on? Do you have anything else you want to talk about there?
No, I think we can move on. I
Okay.
think that's about the gist of it.
Okay.
So you mentioned this in your pre-mentoring session questions to
Yeah.
set up for yourself. Virtual route setters, speedrunning nodes, how I've been working on that. The speedrunning nodes I've just dropped completely in favor of the virtual route setter one. And I started on with your code gem session, which was really, just a nice way for me to get started on something new. Started thinking about it, started working on it quite a bit. One thing I implemented during the development for this is that I just started using GitHub more. Actually work with branches, create issues,
Oh.
create
Ki-
a backlog, just so I have more focus and I have a clearer overview of like how far in the project am I, what kind of things do I need to do
Okay,
to
wait, wait,
help.
wait. This is great, but what does this mean? Used to freestyle it. What did that actually mean?
Oh, I'd just be like, today I'm gonna do this, and like I'm
I
be
see.
thinking about what I need to do, and I didn't even write it down, so I forget about it. And then the next day I'd be working on that, and I was like, oh, but this would also be really cool, and I'd go for this. So I was like, no process behind it. I didn't write anything down. I'd forget half the stuff. I'd forget like an hour later. So that's what I mean by
Okay, I
freestyling it.
I thought it was about GitHub itself, and I thought, are you just saving things on, external hard drives, and then you need to revert, so you go looking through 6 different folders or something? Okay, anyway, yeah, carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
No, no, I was using GitHub at the very least,
Okay, yeah,
but like it was all just like the main branch and just
yeah,
push onto it and yeah, it was a mess still.
yeah. I imagine.
So I've been trying to just structure it, even if it's like just a personal project. I've been trying to structure it more and also apply this to my daily job as a programmer, which I also kind of freestyled maybe perhaps. And and I've also just been like working better with like keeping bugs, keeping a backlog, making work items, making dedicated branches for issues and stuff like that. Which just keeps it all clearer, makes it easier to also show colleagues what I'm working on, or get someone involved if needed. So that's nice. Uh,
I think that's wonderful. I think, I sometimes crank things to the extreme when it comes to organization, and then sometimes it ends up
maybe.
hurting a bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I think that it's always good for getting me back to working on something, is having those tasks and knowing, okay, what did I, because you're mentioning this at work. You were originally focusing on, let's say, this much, and now you just said, okay, Azure's pulling into the mix. You have fewer people working on the team. You're going to bounce between projects. When you do that, that organization starts paying off even more, because if you go 3 weeks without looking at a project, you forget the context, you forget the code, you forget everything else. So, have you seen? I don't know how long you've been using your organization methods for your work, but have you seen an impact on the team with this? Like, have they been like, oh, wow, this bug was filed by you and now I can follow what's going on? I know you said you're mostly isolated in terms of work areas, but has there been any impact?
No, no, not really, because we're all
Okay.
isolated.
Yeah.
So we like don't even see each other's bugs or tickets or whatever. So
Okay. But there is impact for you. You said it is easier.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all personal impact, and
Okay,
that's
good.
been
Yeah.
huge.
Okay. That's
Uh,
that's good
but
though.
yeah, so for the climbing application I've been working on, that's just completely stopped right now. Like the last 2 weeks, I've not really been working on it. Like I fell sick again, so I didn't really feel any motivation while I was sick. I was just taking time to recover. As I mentioned to you earlier this week, I bought a house this week, so I've got like a lot on my plate right now, and I just feel like if I get home, I just wanna relax. I spent half of my day coding at my job already. I don't really want to bother with it right now. Uh, so it's come to a halt now, and I think that's fine. Like on the one hand, I'm a bit, I'm still thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, I actually want to get working on it, and I feel kind of bad for not working on it. But on the other hand, I've also accepted it, like there's more to life than coding. So I also have peace with just not working on it right now, and I can still pick it up again in a month or half year time, or whenever I want to do it again.
Yeah, I find that this happens in a lot of different ways. Sometimes good things, like buying a house is a good thing, and sometimes bad things, getting sick or, some sort of major change. And how you react to it, I think what's important. You could say, yeah, I'm still going to work on this thing and I'm just going to, work myself to the bone. I don't think that's good. And you could also say, I'm never getting back to it now. I've lost momentum on it. And that would also be fine if you're okay with it. I think that for something like this, will you, like, how much of the momentum was caused by coming from the code jam and feeling like I had this project, I proved to myself I can do this. And so I guess you'll find out a month or two from now or 6 months, if you come back to working on this, how do you feel about it? And that time away, that space away from it can really be helpful. So do you think you'll be excited in a couple months and still want to work on it?
Yeah, I think so. Like
Okay.
climbing is still a passion of mine, and it will probably stay for a long while. So the project I'm working on is still a passion. I still think about it regularly, and I still write down ideas. I think a lot of momentum did come from the code jam, but I also feel because of what I mentioned before that I now got like a list of issues and features that I want to work on. I feel like it's also easier to let go and not have to think about it because when
Yeah.
I do come back, I know those tasks will still be there, and I can just jump back in where I left off. Read up on some notes I've taken, uh, and go from there.
I think it's good. You also mentioned that you're writing down ideas still. That's bound to happen. I think that's really nice. There were some other things that we'd talked about, like you potentially reaching out to the climbing gyms near you. Those are things where if you said, you know what, I don't want to get into coding necessarily again, I don't have the time for that, but I've got, a Saturday afternoon. You go over to your climbing gym and right before your session, you say, hey, how would you feel about virtual route setter? Is that something that could help you? And that could be another way of kind of feeling like you're making progress without needing to do code necessarily. So yeah, you could always
Yeah, I
pursue
have
something
been
like
doing
that.
that actually as well. I went to my climbing gym the other day, just like last week. Took my laptop with me. Well, some route setters were there. And I was like, hey, look what I've been working on, and they were really quite excited about it. So even though
Yeah.
I didn't work on it, I did show it to some people.
Okay. Yeah. Did they say? I mean, what was their feedback? I guess. Yeah.
Uh, so they were like a bit like we don't really see yet how we would use it at our gym, but they could see like other opportunities for it for maybe like competitive walls, where you got like one day to set your competitive boulder. And they were like, if they would like have this wall in digital a week in advance, them it would probably like give them a lot of added value. And we also just brainstorming a bit, what other things could you be using it for? So like for example, one thing we discuss is, oh, maybe we could like put a laptop on the counter with this up, and climbers can submit their own ideas for a route, and then like every
Oh.
week or every month, like the best one gets picked and get actually made, which would drive more client interaction for the gym, which would be a benefit to them.
Okay, this is why I said this whole thing about an idea in isolation can only be 80% of a good idea.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this as an insult or anything. I just mean like that's an idea I just never would have thought of, right? Put a laptop there and have people submit their own routes and they just kind of tinker around and then they're turned into reality. Now you can climb this route that you made. Um, and think of what you'd need to do as a result in your application. You'd probably need some sort of automatic, I don't know, like scoring system to figure out how difficult is this, because maybe someone makes a route and they're like, this looks cool, and then in person it's practically impossible, and only the top two climbers in the world can do it. Do you feel kind of like that this represents a shift in direction or priorities, or like maybe now you want to talk to more customers as a result of this? What did you take from
No, I
this?
don't think it really shifts much. I think it's very much in line with what I would already be doing. Like,
Okay,
of
yeah.
course, it would need some extra, way to submit it and whatnot. But I think like it still has like 90% in touch with what it would initially do already, with some extra on top. But I do think it would be. having more features like that and just a broader uh, use case for the application would help if I actually, get to a point where I want to involve other gyms with it.
Yeah.
It's good for pitch talk, so to say.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of meant this in two different ways, by the way. One was, did it change your mind on any features? And the second was, does hearing about their needs make you think, hey, maybe if I talk to three other gyms, they would have different needs? And
Gotcha.
yeah. Um, and I don't know, maybe that's already one of your plans or when you get back to this or something.
Yeah, I probably want to get back to it. Like, I don't know. Probably, if I would speak to other gyms, they probably would have some new insights. I don't know. I haven't talked to them,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
a bit hard to answer. Uh, but probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's nice to at least have done that. I think it's hard to judge things without being there. And so for myself, I've seen other people say, "Hey, you should go to conventions, you should go to meetups and everything." And I was always like, "Look, I don't see the point, but fine, I'll go to some of them." And then I can finally judge, okay, here were the pros, here were the cons. So it's good that you at least went to your gym and you did this. And it probably felt good to do that too and get some feedback and get other
Oh
eyes
yeah,
on. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
awesome. Well,
It's a bit of a flex. Like, oh, that's really cool. Like that you can do this, and really impressed. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. That's really good. Um, All right, I want to ask you something really fast before we move on to the other thing that you had, which was about the celebration. Where did I write this?
It's a little cupcake, just
Oh yeah, here it
5
is.
lines down.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna bump this up here. Yeah. All right, you have the picture here, although I have it in negative colors. Let me. I can't do this really quickly now.
It looked
Um,
better in real life, probably, if it's in negative colors. Then
what?
it looked better in real life than negative colors.
Oh yes, definitely. It looks like the frosting is maybe charcoal frosting. um, I want to ask, did this feel like? Yeah, I guess you wrote it down here. Didn't really feel like much. Might come if I do it more often. Uh, I think in my mind, the point of this is let's not just kind of scramble from one project to the next over and over. And I think we have a tendency to do this in the modern day. And you just mentioned, okay, I want to stop doom scrolling, so I'm going to pick up Spanish. And it's not necessarily like I'll just have dead time. I don't think we have dead time in our day anymore. So looking back, SR notes sounds like, oh, it's just a thing of the past. It happened. I'm done. I've moved on. You said it's not really a priority right now. Have you heard back from people about it? Are people using it? Do you?
No, not that I know of. No one mentioned it. I don't think anyone was using it, and that's fine. It's out there, so maybe sometime someone will pick it up, or maybe I get back to it myself in a couple of months, couple of years, whenever it's out there, and that's fine.
Okay. And did like I guess there are lots of things that I think about when it comes to the celebration and kind of closing the loop on this. So you launched it. That was really good. But what it represented for you is overcoming that last 10% of a project, which really turned out to be something like 30% of a project. And you proved to yourself that you could do it. And now you have this milestone in your head of I launched it, I had a cupcake. Is it any less daunting in the future? Do you feel more confident as a developer as a result of this? Are there, what are we came full loop here. What are the positive outcomes of having made this app?
Yeah, I think a positive outcome is that what I said before I launched it, I was like a bit afraid to launch it because you're like, what if people don't use it? What if people hate it? Negative comments, whatever. Now I launch it and I find nobody actually used it, and I'm fine with that actually. So now I know, like, next time if I have a new idea and I'm like afraid, like, oh, what will I think about it if no one ends up liking it? Well, now no, I don't really care if no one likes it. I liked working on it, and that's fine enough for me.
That's great. I think that's exactly kind of what I was talking about. And maybe the celebration route is something I need to adjust for this to figure out like maybe it's a retrospective that's important and the celebration should be coupled with a retrospective. So I'll think about this for myself here. I'll write this down. Maybe the
Yeah,
retrospective.
like I said, the cupcake thing. We talked about it. I did it. I posted it in Discord. It was like more of like, here's a bit of a laugh. I did it. But for me, it didn't really add much,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to adjust this a bit because I think that's what part of this should be. Um, I mentioned that my wife had good news the other day and we went out to breakfast to celebrate and I was like, I want to talk about the good news. I want to ask you like what led there, how did you feel? And I said we're going to conduct this like it's an interview, and at some point I was like, okay, so what was the next step? And I know it because I'm married to her. But she got so into the interview that she was answering like, well, I never really thought. And I'm like, she separated from the reality to put herself in this position of how do I explain this to someone new? So I wonder if I could do something like that maybe with you or with other mentees. And anyway, I still think it's great that you got this thing done. It's great that you overcame your fears. It's also you took time to dedicate yourself to this project. It wasn't just, okay, I'm going to sit down and do this. It was, I need to bring myself to sit down and do this.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be slightly easier next time. Maybe it'll still be tough. Okay, well, I'm glad you tried. I thank you for humoring me. Let me go back up to here. So body doubling. Why don't you tell me about this?
Yeah. So after our last mentoring session, I did a couple of them. Which were pretty nice. I did it while working from home. I saw that the same couple of people came back, so they probably enjoyed it as well, I would imagine. Some of the sessions, I noticed we were talking quite a lot, which wasn't really what I was looking for. But at some point, we just mentioned like, okay, let's actually focus now. And then, everybody just focused, so that's nice. And then I just worked from home a lot less the last couple of weeks, so I didn't really do it anymore. I
Yeah.
wasn't working on any of my personal projects in the evening, so there's no need for me to do it then. So like the last 2 weeks, I didn't do any of this.
Okay, I think that's fine. These things can come and go, and the way I look at this is it's a tool. So when you feel
Yeah.
you need that tool, then use it. Do you think you were more productive during those sessions than you would have been without them?
Oh yeah. At some point, I was very conscious about going to YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
I was I was in the call with some people, and I was like, "Oh, hey, look, whoever just uploaded something to YouTube," and I was, and like someone just happened to cough in the call, and I was like, "I shouldn't be doing this."
Can you imagine? What if you could accomplish the same thing with just a random cough program? They just you're about to do something.
And whenever you go to YouTube.com, like you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So it
great.
definitely helped.
Yeah. And did you find that it let you do tasks that were like there are times you're productive outside of body doubling, and then there are times you're productive with body doubling. Were there tasks that you could only have done with body doubling? Did it motivate you to do things you otherwise wouldn't have done at all?
Honestly, I can't remember. I
Okay.
don't even know what I had for breakfast, so I can't remember what I did 2 weeks ago during those sessions.
All right, that's fine. Just add it to GitHub issues next time, and we'll talk about your breakfast. Uh, Look, I think it's good. You've now shown that you can be productive in these sessions, and you have this tool. And like you said, you might not have been otherwise. You might have been on YouTube or something. So I myself have been trying to do some of this too, except for the way I was doing it was everyone is silent the entire time, and we were just typing in chat, and that was somewhat rare. And so I don't know what the best setup is that's effective for everybody, but you found something that works for you, and you have these as a tool. So yeah, I think you continue to use them. This
Yeah.
this can you apply this at work at all?
Well, we kind of are doing this next week, though it's not entirely the same. Like, there's this one project we're working on, which is basically we're tying 3 completely different software packages together, and there's basically one dev for each software package, and we're all working on our own implementation. But at the end of the day, it's for the same tool. And we will be, for the entire next week, all 3 of us will be sitting together, even though we are working on our own on our part of the project. So I guess it's kind of like, we are as a working team, but on our own individual things. But
Yeah.
we will be sitting together, so I guess it counts as body doubling.
Yeah, I think so. I'm definitely curious to hear how that goes once it's happened. I think I was watching a movie last night, which has nothing to do with software engineering, but it was set in the 1950s, and everyone in this town in the movie seemed to know each other. And I always kind of find it to be sort of a fun game of figuring out what is accurate to that period of time and what is just done for the movie. So like, someone having super detective skills is like, okay, they did that for the movie. But people knowing each other in a town is not done for the movie, right? People did just have stronger social connections back in the 50s than I think we do now. And it made me think we are pretty isolated compared to that, just about 75 years ago.
Yeah.
And so being in the same room as your coworkers working on vaguely adjacent tasks is not something that's new to society. And yet it's noteworthy to bring it up in this session that it's going to happen and that I want to ask about it. So like, what does this show us about working with people and around people and our social needs as just, yeah, humans and as workers?
Yeah, especially in our field, it's very
Yeah.
normal to like not sit together or like not even know what the person across from you is working on. I
Yeah.
feel like especially software engineering is really maybe a bit special in this regard, where like there's a lot of even in a team you're still working on your own slice of the pie.
Yep, exactly. And there's this thought I read online a while ago, which is you pass somebody on the street and they are a person just like you with a very complex life and their own set of problems and wants and desires, and you'll never know any of them because you just pass them on the street. You may never see them again. And I remember when I was about to leave one of my jobs, right when I was going to start Botland, I remember talking to people and they said, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to start a company. I'm going to do this." Like 3 people in that room had their own jobs or their own companies outside of the work that they were doing. And I just never would have known if that one conversation hadn't come up. So I'm curious about how this goes from the point of view of productivity, but also just in terms of team bonding. And then, yeah, if it goes well, will you set something like this up again? Something along those lines where it's like, how can we learn from this and then use this just like body doubling in the future? Okay, so yeah, we still have a little bit of time. I want to ask you about this last bit here. The how did the mentee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the first session, I was approached by someone, that they wanted some advice. They wanted to just talk about their situation, and my experience. So we did. We had a first session. After our second session, we had a bit of a chat on Discord again, like, hey, how's it been going last month? Have you seen any
Mm-hmm.
improvements, stuff like that. And it just kind of stayed with that chat. They didn't ask for like a new call to be set up or something, and I didn't really ask for it either. I don't know. I didn't really feel comfortable pushing it or like asking, like, "Hey, do you want to call again?" Uh, yeah, I felt like it was a bit outside of my own comfort zone to ask them to do it if they, didn't initiate it themselves.
I see. What is your concern there? So outside of your comfort zone, I understand. Are you concerned that you'd be pushing them to do something they don't want to do, that they might be uncomfortable? What are
Yeah, I
you?
think I think I think that's a portion of it for sure. Uh, and also just think to myself, okay, what more can I add after the last session? I think those two are probably the biggest concerns I had.
Okay, interesting. This is kind of similar to when you were about to launch SR Notes and you said, "I'm worried about how people will take it." I think that in general, people take things probably better than you'd naturally assume. And I don't know if I mean you specifically when I say than you would naturally assume, but I think that is the case for sure. And I don't know if that's a general case as well. But it sounds like you have some fears about, yeah, how people will take things. And in this case, I bet if you reached out to them and you said, "Hey, do you want to do a follow-up session via voice?" That's a very low pressure way. It's like a, "Do you want this thing?" Not a, "Hey, I think it's a good idea for you to do this." And they're individuals. They can say no, and they could just say, "You know what? I'd like to just keep this to chat." I think you run into maybe strange, almost like clashing of etiquette where someone might feel like they don't want to say no because what if you'd be hurt by saying that and you don't want to make them feel ignored, so you ask them a question, but neither of you really wants to move forward to this. Okay, that could be an extenuating circumstance here, but otherwise, if you wanted to move forward, I think you could ask them a very low stakes question of just, "Do you want to voice chat about this or something?" It's also totally fine to do what you're doing. I just want to throw this out there that I think the important part here is the, what if I don't have more to give them, or what if they can't benefit from this? And I doubt that's the case, at least.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm interested to hear if that keeps going. I think even just doing things over text can still be good. You can still help somebody. They can still ask you questions. I think it's a little bit harder to communicate efficiently over text just because, I mean, think of how many words you say versus how many you type. And it's just, yeah, there's a lot of nuance.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to scroll through my questions I had and just see if anything's super important. I know you mentioned this. How's it been?
Sounds good.
Yeah, you mentioned this. Oh yeah. So let's just ask this for now. Are you doing an A-star challenge yourself?
I want to, but I don't think I have the time for it. Just having bought the house, there's just so much in my personal life going on right now that I
Yeah.
don't think I have the capacity to do like anything like this right now.
Okay.
But I think that's a shame. Like if I can, I will, but I probably won't.
Okay. I don't think you should add pressure to yourself. I think from what you've said, I think you should make it a goal not to do it. Like, if you have the time, it should probably go somewhere else or towards Spanish or something. Only because, really think about it. Like, if you have this much stuff going on and you're already leaning toward not doing it, what are the odds that you find the time? It'd be more that you'd have to carve it out. And if you feel the pressure to carve it out, then you might, and it would come at a cost. So
Yeah.
at least that's my
I think
input.
that's accurate, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I suggest not doing it based on how you said how things are going. So last thing I want to ask is this.
Yeah, like one thing I want to add to this, like, and I also feel like, because I'm the one that initiated it, I feel like there's a bit of pressure there for me to involve myself in it more. And I know you would say, like, that's silly, don't do that, don't think like that. But like, having been the one that put it out there, I kind of feel like, I should probably do something with this myself and not be just like throw it out there and forget about it.
I don't think you have to do that. I think there should be some follow-up, as in, like, let's say 3 people submit something or 1 person submits something. I think you can, like, round them up and just say, hey, good job, or something along those lines.
That will be done for sure.
That's probably it. But beyond that, I think, and we'll see how this goes as a community too. The last thing I want to ask about here is this. You'd mentioned in December and January, there were some low points for you. I think you'd also gotten sick then, and you just got sick in the last month too. How are you just generally feeling about your life, about how things are going?
Yeah, things have definitely been better again.
Mm-hmm.
I've put exercise again, which is, a big thing in my life, exercising. So just being able to do that made things better again. I have the outlook of about a new house, which, of course brings its own troubles and stresses. But it's definitely been going better. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm good. I'm glad to hear it. Again, if anything ever, if it feels like, oh, hey, May, things are dipping again, feel free to bring it up in these sessions if you feel I can help. And yeah, that's everything I've got. Yeah, thank you for joining. I look forward to just kind of seeing how the rest of this stuff goes. Everything I put a star next to is like, I want to ask about that next time. I want to figure out how that goes. So yeah, thanks for joining, Remy.
Not gonna lie, those stars are really useful for me as well, because like preparing for the session myself, I went like, oh, what are his stars again? What do I really need to mention? So those are also useful for the mentee that you put them in there for sure.
Oh, good. Yeah, cool. All right, well, yeah, take care, Remy. Thanks for joining. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks for the session.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. All right, chat, let me make sure I am not going to show anything private here. I think we're good. Yeah. All right, so claps for Remy. What a great guy. Yeah, thank you for being on the show, Remy. And I guess the entirety of the chat during that time all fits within one page. So let me just read this right now. No, nice. Look at that, Remy. If Remy ever reads this, I'm a 62 software engineer on Azure. Feel free to reach out if you ever need help. Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Love the ecosystem for C# and Azure, but the learning curve is pretty steep, and Azure DevOps is completely different from Azure Portal. Prepping for the Azure certification did not help me do a good job as a developer. Wow, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think there is quite a lot to learn there. And Caleb, thank you for subbing. Sorry I couldn't answer during the session or acknowledge it during the session, but I did hear it. I wanted to complain that first is too expensive, but it didn't feel relevant to the mentoring. Okay, I can tone down the cost of that. In fact, let me just do it right now. That way I don't forget. All right, where do I even do this? This is like the hardest thing to find. Channel points, there it is. There's like 4 different sections where I always think it should be. All right, so what should this cost? Let's have it cost 100. Yeah, there, save. Okay, done. 1. I think 100 is pretty good. Maybe 111. Yeah, I should probably make it 111. Yeah, so for those who had never seen a mentoring session, that's generally how they go. I'm still kind of debating on what's the, whoops, that's not what I want to click. I'm still kind of debating on what's the best way to do these for the stream. Like, it's not very interactive content, as evidenced by, I mean, there being like 1 page of chat and half of it being about chocolate chips. So, yeah. And I like doing mentoring, and I think this could help other people. I wonder if I should just do it offline and post it on YouTube or something. I don't know. Oh, wait. Here we go. Don't want to be too much of a troublesome guy, but here at 1120, use parenthesis in the end of a sentence. I think the full stop dot character should be inside the closing parenthesis. I think the proper way is actually putting the punctuation outside of the parenthesis. I think the thing that I do that's very programmery is putting, if I say something like, Remy said hi, this is a programming thing to do, putting a dot outside of the quotation marks. But that parenthesis thing should be correct. What's wrong with chocolate chips? Nothing. Been hopping in the work channel and just working with mic on. What was the conclusion about mic versus no mic? Wasn't necessarily a conclusion, just that different styles work for different people. So I've been doing it with the whole, like, nobody's talking during the session at all. And I don't know. I don't know what like proper body doubling would be. I think usually you're just with one other person and probably you know that person, and so you just work something out. And I think there's generally some work and some chat. I think that's probably the most common thing. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll keep an eye on how I kind of want mentoring to go in the future. Yeah, I think it was a good session. I applaud Remy for joining for it. And I think it's probably a good time to take a lunch break. And then the afternoon will be just about prototyping the game. Yeah, Remy, I was like, I know we started with light in the room. I don't know what happened toward the end of it. I was going to comment, but then I'm like, it's not actually important. This is Remy. He's a cave goblin. The sun went down? Okay, yeah. I thought there might be some lights or something. All right, I'm going to get going. I will see you all in the afternoon, I hope. And yeah, like I said, it'll be about 3 hours of just prototyping. So yeah, hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye.